Pito, the cheat code. Oh my. Pito, Pito. I don't like that. I don't like. All these people dying. Why thumbs down? Why did you say? Why thumbs down? What's wrong with you people? I'm late again. I was late like 2 minutes. I can never make you happy. um. Issues. Oh my god. I can't do polls like this. I'm currently lost in a national park and the crew that was sent to save me was fired. Oh no, not again. Another Trump resulting in death. Sent to save me was fired. Another Trump resulting in death. What park? All the parks. Trump defunded all the parks, bro. All the parks are defunded. Okay, I need a video of I definitely need to do like Joe Rogan off the bat to get people's eyeballs on the stream and then take calls. If that even works anymore. I don't know, I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know how the system works anymore. Okay. Everything should be ready from this perspective. I have a stream on my other channel up. It's not going to do anything, but it's up in case if people do find it. Okay. Midnight. I don't know if putting debating Trump D-Riders is going to help the algorithm at all. I'm really not sure.
Every time you know that you're cooked.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Bernie's been speaking a lot. Bernie Sanders. In the middle of winter in Omaha tonight, Bernie Sanders spoke to 2,400 working class Nebraskans. We were forced to turn away 800 people at the door. 800. More than 130,000 tuned into the live stream in real time. So my answer for what can Democrats do right now is mobilize people. Tell them what they can do. AOC spoke. She said, every little thing you can do. Wake up every day. What is in your capacity to push back against what's happening? That's what Democrats can do. You hold a microphone, you motivate people. You change how people think, which in turn changes how people act. That's how you use speech. I know Democratic Party leadership doesn't really know how that works, apparently, because they only care about procedure. There are some good ones. But still, okay. People want to have a reason to do this stuff. Look at this guy right there. Look at this guy. Does he fit the model of typical liberal? Of typical person on the left? I don't think so. You know? There's an entire political movement in this country that can be easily tapped. Easily. Easily tapped.
Look, I know the media's in here, and if you have a target, that target's right here. It's not the men and women at the FBI. You've written everything you possibly can about me that's fake, malicious, slanderous, and defamatory. Keep it coming, bring it on. But leave the men and women of the FBI out of it. They deserve better.
Fake and slanderous is when you play a video of Kash Patel speaking. You know, that's what that actually means. If you play something he said out loud. Chill. What are these? Oh no. I got crazy voicemails, bro. I might have to change my stream title. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if Trump D Rider is gonna get pushed in the algorithm at all. My average view time is way too high right now. I'm not getting shared to anyone on the algorithm. I might have to restart. Oh no. I have to restart. Just saying. I don't know if it's gonna work. Debating Trump D Riders. Bernie Sanders goes all out. Stop. Oh, wait a second. I forgot about the second half. Stop simping for Donald Cook. Yeah, I might have to change that. Might need to change it. We'll see. Keeping me on time. Please stream late. People assume you're a Trumper because of your haircut. I got some fun voicemails. Some really fun voicemails. Here's one of them. I talk to a lot of different Trump supporters in my call-in show, Jola Talks Politics. I go live around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern Time most nights. And yeah, here's some of my amazing voicemails.
Angry, 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 cruel, 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 nasty, 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 beyond mean.
All right. Good start. I'm really prepped for the tone of your voicemail, okay? It's going to be angry, 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 nasty, 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 cruel, cruel, cruel. Okay, nice. Thank you.
Angry, 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 angry.
Most well-adjusted, emotionally stable adults talk like this, by the way. They usually just call you, and they repeat their emotion. You know, angry, 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 angry. Like, imagine watching my show at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching me debate Trump voters, okay? And this is your call.
Cruel,
this is your voicemail.
Cruel, nasty, 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 beyond mean human being. You know, hurting.
Wow.
Angry, 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 cruel,
angry, angry,
cruel, nasty, 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 beyond mean human being. You know, hurting people hurt people. You don't even know me. Go hurt your family. Go hurt.
Wait a second. This person sent this during the day when I was not live, by the way. When I was not live.
Hurt people. You don't even know me. Go hurt your family. Go hurt the person that hurt you. Go sit down. Go get some counseling. Get some medication and calm yourself down. This is not how you do YouTube, buddy. Okay? So, our conversation last night, whatever happens to you, you know, we reap what we sow.
Oh my goodness. This is the caller who told us about how Donald Trump got 85% of the total vote. I guess Russia and Ukraine's fake. January 6th was fake. Their daughter went no contact with them for the past 2 years. And they kept on talking about God. All right, so okay. Not really explaining what God does or the Bible, just like God. You know, they're in a different world from most people, including, you know, religious people as well. This person is mentally in a very difficult position in life. And they actually do unironically need help. They unironically do need help. But these are the people that Trump uses, and he manipulates them, and he steals money from them and gets them to join his cult because they do have issues that are not resolved in life.
You know, we reap what we sow. The seeds that you dropped with me last night, they're going to be thrown out because they'll be rotten fruit.
Bars, bro. The seeds you dropped in last night, they're going to be thrown out because they'll be rotten fruit. I don't even know who I'm talking to.
You know, I read my Bible every day. Maybe you should begin to do that, do something useful with your life instead of being on YouTube putting Elon Musk and everybody else down because you're
I am so sorry that I spoke badly about Elon Musk. I'm so sorry.
Musk and everybody else down because you're jealous. That's what happened to the left.
I'm jealous. That's what, yeah.
They hate the
I'm
fact
just jealous, bro.
that President Trump is one of the most honored presidents.
Honored.
And I'm so glad he's going to be in for the next 4 years, and then J.D. Vance, and then President Trump's family.
Bro, it's so beautiful. By the way, Trump did say that J.D. Vance is not his successor. Trump shot that down instantly. The interviewer said, "Hey, Trump, do you view J.D. Vance as your successor?" He's like, no, not at all. Nope, J.D., good guy, but no.
Because I'm quite sure you wouldn't like someone talking about your mother and father or your sister and brother or shooting at you.
What are you going at? What are you going at right now, bro? What is this?
Mother and father or your sister and brother are shooting at you. You know? Think what you'd say, little man. And think about it. Think about what I'm saying to you.
I'm thinking a lot of things.
But I'm doing it my way, as Frank Sinatra says. I'm doing it my way. YouTube is informed, and I want to see you off there. And I will report you every time I see you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, so they're gonna report me whenever they see me. Yeah, apparently they are now gonna be stalking me and my channel, to make sure I don't talk about you know.
I'm doing it my way.
Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
YouTube is informed.
YouTube is informed. So she wrote a report to YouTube.
And I want to see you off there.
Nice.
And I will report you every time I see you.
Thank you. That's so cool. Isn't that such a cool voicemail, guys? Okay, here's another one.
Thought for today, Mr.
Oh no, she left multiple? How many did she leave? Oh no.
As I was saying.
No, she left like 5, bro.
Yes, this is the woman you gave a hard time to. I have reported you to YouTube. I want you off YouTube. You don't belong. You're hateful. You're cruel. You're nasty. How dare you even question me? You don't even know me from a hole in the wall. What happened? Did your mom and dad give you up for adoption?
Dang,
if
dude.
I was your mother, I would have got rid of you a long time ago.
Oh my
because
God.
You're cruel and nasty. You're looking for fights. President Trump is the real president. You lied about everything.
He is?
And
I did not say Trump is not the real president, to be fair, okay? I did say Trump is the real president, but I said he's a bad president.
you know, it just goes to show that you need to be deported out of here, too. You don't belong on YouTube. You don't belong in the United States being so nasty.
I gotta be deported?
You're the judge. You're above God. Give me a break.
I did not say I'm above God. I said they put Trump above God, because they do. Whoa, I should be deported? Oh my God.
You don't belong in the United States being so nasty. You're the judge. You're above God. Give me a break. You know, you got on the wrong side of the road with me, and you reap what you sow. And I hope you reap and sow how you talk to people. But YouTube has gotten a report on you. You don't belong in this country with your nasty.
YouTube is going to deport me, bro. YouTube is going to deport me. YouTube's deporting me. All right, guys. YouTube sent me a message. They said, you are going out of the country. Oh, no.
I've been around a lot longer, and yes, don't ever compare God to what I told you. Never mind talk about my daughter. You have no idea what I've been through. But you know what? My advice to you, little boy, is watch who you talk to, because there's a big battle inside of me that's raging.
Oh, my God, dude.
You're an angry, angry troll, and I mean that you can turn around and cruelly abuse people by your big mouth.
I
Watch
abuse
who you
people with my
talk
big
to.
mouth, dude. I abuse people with my big mouth. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, crazy.
And you know what? I hope they shut you down because you're inappropriate for YouTube. All you're doing is spewing your hate, your animosity, your
Yes.
anger.
Preach.
You know, real men don't do that. Why don't you look in the mirror?
Yes, real men do not spew hate, animosity, or anger. That's why I support Donald
Look
Trump.
for the real man inside. And stop acting like God and stop judging. Again, don't ever talk about my family again. I have your name and I have your telephone number. Beware
Okay.
who you talk to, little boy. And I will be praying for your evil soul because you have so many spirits of the devil on you. You make me sick to my stomach. Let's just put it that way. But I will be praying for you. I love God. God has given me many blessings. Something that you don't quite understand. You're begging for money. Go get a job. That's what you're supposed to be doing. YouTube is not a job.
See, that's the best part about the God they preach to conservative America. Is it's all self-serving. It's about like, what does God do for me? What gifts does God give to me? Because they don't talk about Jesus ever, because Jesus was about serving others and being kind and humble and patient with others. So they need to talk about the Old Testament, talk about Judeo-Christian values, talk about God in a sense of a brutal, retribution-obsessed person, whatever the word is. Yeah, because they can't talk about Jesus, obviously.
And what
Yeah,
you
but
do
this
on
person is-
YouTube, you're not impressing anyone. You know? So your Jola politics and talking about our president, 85%.
There it is. 85% voted for him. Okay, so she sent multiple, okay? These are voicemails. She sent multiple voicemails.
So as I was saying, get over yourself. Okay? You want to be a leftist?
I'm not a leftist.
You go ahead and be a leftist. Get out of the United States. You don't belong here. Okay?
Wait, does she think that
My father
leftist means you want to leave the U.S.? Is that what leftist means? Leftist means you want to leave the U.S.?
fought in World War II, not for you people that want to take our president down, that got shot at. Okay, that was a miracle of God because God was going to use the real president in the United States. So again, I will remind you, YouTube has gotten a report on you. And I want you shut down.
YouTube's gotten multiple reports from me. Or on me.
Don't ever attack people you don't know.
I did not attack her, by the way. She brought up her own daughter. Okay. And she said her daughter has not talked to her in 2 years.
Go attack your mother and father and your family. And if you have children or a wife, and hopefully nobody will ever marry you because you're very abusive. And again, you don't know who I am. Your mouth would stop flapping. Nothing was coming out of it that made any sense. Go back to school and learn what respect is to people that are older than you and wiser than you.
Wiser.
Okay? What you did was wrong. And God
I didn't do anything. I just talked to you, bro. I just talked to you. Having conversations is a crime in Trump's America.
Thought for today, Mr. Jola, politics. Respect our differences. Respect our differences.
I agree. She said I need to be deported for my opinion. And we should be respecting our differences. I agree.
Father, I pray for this man's understanding.
Oh, she's going to pray. She's praying. She is praying. Okay.
Understanding in the community he represents and not in a...
It's not funny at all. It's really not funny at all. But you see those big scandals where like political campaign text messages and phone calls are designed to scare people who have like paranoia and PTSD, to scare them into donating money to their campaigns, and they drain their entire bank accounts. And when Trump like runs the ads where it's like the immigrants are taking over your community, you're gonna die if you don't vote for me. This is how that language becomes real in how people act. Things like January 6th, when you lie about things constantly, you lie to change how people think. If you change how they think, you change how they act. And it naturally selects for people who are struggling with mental health issues. So yeah, like Trump, his politics is abusive. It's an abusive form of politics. The emotional gaslighting that he talks with, blaming other people for things he does, like it's just, yeah.
A good way. Help him to approach each person he talks to with empathy, not arrogance, and curiosity instead of judgment. Sit him down because he needs to be a pupil to us teachers.
It's all about sitting us down too.
Show him how we are all similar in the good ways.
In the good ways? What are the good ways?
The cruel and nasty ways. Lord, help him to practice kindness and grace in the world and to understand who you are. He needs to depend on you always, and he needs your love to infiltrate him because of the demonic spirits that are inside of him.
It is scary. It's so scary because the brand of Christianity that this falls under justifies killing people because it'll be like, I'm freeing you, or I'm doing this for your benefit, or I'm punishing you like God did because you need to learn a lesson. That's why it can lead to things like crusades, where you justify the crusades and wars over Christianity based on this idea. You know, God in the Old Testament did genocides and wiped out cities and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's why they focus on the Old Testament in general. They could be more brutal because Jesus spoke against those kinds of things. But they don't mean good and bad in the sense of like moral good, like how am I affecting other people? They mean good as in what I was taught to believe in. So whatever my opinion is, whatever my reading of the Bible is, it's usually not even based on the Bible, but whatever my opinion is good to them, or whatever their opinion is.
And here is one last thing, Jola politics. If you have nothing nice to say, keep your mouth quiet and say nothing. So in other words, in a polite way, keep your mouth shut. Have a good day. And no, you didn't win any battle. You didn't get anything over me. All I know is you don't belong in the United States, partaking in the goodness of President Trump if you can't respect that man. I am so glad to see the evil being unburied because you have several years to go.
Mm-hmm.
And what President Trump is doing, like I said last night, do you live with the man? Do you sleep with the man? Do you eat with the man? Do you know the man? Do you really know the man? No, you're off to the left with Nancy Pelosi, Newsom, Biden, Harris, Clinton's, Obama's, okay? You're
yes,
into
I'm
the
a famous
left.
Nancy Pelosi lover.
You know what?
Famous.
Crawl back to the right and understand what God wants.
God wants
me
to lay in bed with Trump?
To be attacking people.
He doesn't?
I don't know what
Why are you
problem
attacking
is,
me?
but obviously
Why are you attacking
have
me
a lot
then?
of psychological problems.
I have psychological problems.
Maybe you were beaten as a little boy.
Dude,
you're still being beaten.
Dude.
I don't know what your problem is.
I was saying Jesus and dude at the same time.
You probably created it.
I created the problem. No, it's me.
Why doesn't
I'm
your
the problem.
parents
It's
want
me.
You? Oh yeah. And by the way, I like your cellar where you are. Cellar dweller. You want to attack me? But again, I'm praying for you.
These are all during the day, from like 1 to 2 p.m., 15 minutes apart from each other. Each of the messages, by the way.
I don't feel like it, but I'm praying for your soul.
Thank you for praying for me.
That's what God wants me to do. And God is
Only because
almighty,
God wants you to.
all-powerful above all. And God
Okay.
put President Trump back where he belongs. And what has happened to this man? God's in charge. So get over it and stop being a judge. So anyways, I just wanted to give you an update. YouTube has been informed and they're going to investigate you and how you talk about Elon Musk and swearing on YouTube and being inappropriate to callers. You know, I'm doing you a favor.
I'm sorry.
Make you realize you can't talk to strangers the way you do and get away with it.
I'm sorry, but I reported YouTube. They have been informed. They are going to do an investigation on you because you talk about, with how you talk about Elon Musk.
You're a bully. That's all you are, is a bully. And again, you don't know where I've been, but I've contended with bullies. Because if you were in front of me, you wouldn't do what you did.
I just talked to you.
Okay, I just
talked to you.
So, what you did was wrong. Get on your hands and knees, repent, ask for forgiveness, because you're a very angry.
So God will always remain in control. So as I just heard you talking to this lady, you know, God never changes. And just because if you go back to the Babylonian days when they had the religious leaders there and Nebuchadnezzar, you know, he was like a brutality person. He was very evil.
This is why people that are religious fall to dictatorships more, because they've been going through their entire life never justifying any belief at all. They just believe it because God believes it. And I don't believe that's a real way to even worship a faith in general. But they don't have any way to contextualize life at all without God. So this guy right here left a voicemail as well. I'm pretty much getting a bunch of religious voicemails because in order to follow Trump, you need to just not critically think about it and just trust in Trump. That's why they think Trump is like a king or a god or whatever.
And hurt people and things like that. And when God called upon the nations to repent and turn to him, the people wouldn't. So God took his hand up and off. He's like, okay, so these things, he's like, you don't want me in your life. Okay, these things are going to happen. We live in a fallen world. There's a principality, the prince of darkness, Satan.
When God called upon the nations to repent and turn to him, people went away. So God took his hand up in office okay, so these things are going to happen to you if you don't want me in your life. Now, that sounds like just a completely abusive relationship, right? He's just abusing you. God makes us imperfect on purpose so he can test us. This is their version of Christianity. Okay, so he can test us. And if we don't follow him 100%, if we are not following him in lockstep like a cult, then he will punish us and make us go through pain until we run back to him. So their version of God in Christianity is a God that is just focused on having us prove our loyalty to him over and over and over again, making us go through pain and every other difficult struggle in the world so we can prove that we love him because we're going to go back to him, no matter what happens to us. And in fact, when we stray away from God, in their view, God purposely harms us to make us crawl back to him because he's the only way we can be saved. But God is all powerful, so he creates that dynamic. He creates the ability for us to feel pain, and he creates this game that we need to play to prove to him that we are faithful to God. Okay, so you see how that falls in line with God is king, and then king, God sent Trump. Trump is king, and then that falls into you should be deported because you don't agree with me. And this is how all dictators function. They view God as a dictator, okay? The more liberal interpretations of Christianity will follow Jesus more and talk about Jesus and how we can serve other people. So God's about me, prove your loyalty to me. Jesus was about serving others, to put it very plainly. Okay, that's the big conflict here in what part of the Bible they pay attention to. But the people in charge right now of the country are white nationalists, Christian nationalists, self-described Christian nationalists. So they do believe in they believe in a very violent version of Christianity. That's why Hegseth has the Iron Cross and everything. But it is scary. It is scary when people have zero way to rationalize the world. Because whenever they have a negative thought or a difficult conversation, they default back to that. And it makes them do really bad things since they don't have any moral reasoning by themselves. And they give up on the world because they're happy because we're going to transcend the world and go to heaven. So it's okay if we let the world fall apart and we all die. Like it's okay for them because we're going to be in a better place. Like imagine watching any cult, any suicide cult say that. Okay, we're going to drink the poison and be in the spaceship. That famous cult. It sounds like that, right? It sounds like that. I view Christianity as the more serving other people version of it that Jesus taught. I believe Christianity is closer to what Jesus taught, not the, not the violence-seeking, the bloodlust version that conservatives in the U.S. often follow, or that Christian nationalists follow. Howdy.
Yo,
What's up?
I was just listening to those voicemails and I missed the call. What did you guys talk about?
Pretty much she views God and Trump as one person, or she views like God as a divine savior sent from God, who's going to lead us to prosperity, and anyone that questions Trump or Musk by extension is evil. She went on a rant about how her daughter went no contact with her for 2 years, and she said Trump won 85% of the vote. Literally 85%. She really believes it. January 6th was completely faked, and it was proven to be faked by the federal agents. All that kind of stuff.
Oh, is there not a private chat anymore? Oh, whatever, it's fine. But and were those voicemails left like in multiple days, or was it just like the morning after you had spoken to her or something?
Yeah, that was all today at like 1 p.m. So all 5 of the voicemails, totaling like 20 minutes long, was all at 1 p.m. today.
You talked to her last night?
Yep, last night. So she's been thinking about me and reporting me to YouTube over and over again and asking for an investigation into my channel.
Bro, that is crazy. She sounded drunk as fuck at like you said 1 p.m.
Yeah, and that's the thing about what I was saying about these modern political movements is that they I mean, especially Trump, like the emails they send out are literally like, if you don't donate right now, the country's going to be ran over by the crazy communists and socialists and your daughter's going to die. Like all that kind of crazy stuff gets people like that who need help, obviously. But they just like funnel money into it because they're like, this is my savior. This guy's going to save me. When Trump is like, I am the only person that can protect you from the radical socialist, communist, Marxists. They take it to heart. Like they really do hear it as like, oh, wow, this is someone sent by God to save me, you know?
I got
Yeah.
texts from both the Democratic and the Republican Party in exactly that same manner.
Yeah, but the way that Trump does it is like they put pictures up of like AI generated pictures of non-white people of color attacking and pillaging the white communities. And they say like, for example, if you're in a white suburb and Kamala wins, your white suburb is going to be flooded by criminals and your daughter's going to get raped if she walks across the street. Like that's Trump's messaging. Democrats do say that Trump's dangerous, and I definitely agree with that. But Trump's is literally just like, yeah. I mean, they all use. I agree that the it's predatory.
The
Like the message is
text I
generally
was
predatory.
receiving from both sides were both saying the world was going to end if the other person won, and
But the
that's
nuance there
generally how it came.
matters.
And I'm like, I mean, the text I was receiving from those were, I'm like, if just due to the fact that these are unsolicited, like I'm just going to keep getting them to see how bad they get. Like that's kind of how I went. Like it was kind of entertainment for the day. But it's like, this isn't what's making me vote, guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The main thing I'm saying is like Trump's will be a made up scenario that makes people fearful about the entire world, and then Democrats will say something that Trump actually said and say he wants to be like a dictator, which is like stuff Trump is. They'll quote Trump and say he's a threat to democracy, which I would definitely agree with. It's become a meme, but I mean he's proving right now that he's
I
kind
think
of
that I think that a lot of policies that the Democrats tend to push are more or less like the yellow brick road to losing constitutional rights.
Okay, but they never advocate for removing the Constitution, even if you disagree with some of their policies. Like Trump literally wants to supersede the Constitution and checks and balances. There's just not a comparison there. Even if you disagree with Democrats' policies, they never like just disobeyed court orders or tried to unilaterally just remove federal agencies. Like that just did not happen in and no president has done it actually except Trump. Like he's really going after the whole King thing.
I do have a
Wait,
question, Joel.
well,
So
well, the executive has plenary power over the executive branch, and there have been what 6 presidents that have. Now they may not have called it Doge, but typically it's about government efficiency, in which they go through and they try to crimp or
Bureau of
reform
Efficiency.
government.
The agency
Bureau of
that was
Efficiency.
renamed Doge is about technical support. It's about computer systems. So Doge right now
No,
was
he's
a former
in
branch
the
renamed
past.
to something
There
else.
was a branch named Bureau of Efficiency.
Well,
I think it
that
got
was back
abolished.
when I think that was for one term, and that was I think it was it Roosevelt or was it Kennedy?
It was.
Like
I think it was
there's
Roosevelt. No,
because
it
we also
wasn't.
had the
I don't
Grace
remember.
Commission. The Grace Commission from Reagan almost was doing the same thing. That's how we ended up with the Grace Commission report.
Regardless, they're working outside of the constitutional framework and openly saying they are. Like when Trump says he declared himself king or he declared himself above laws if he takes an action to save the country. They have violated multiple court orders already. They've already said like the executive branch is the sole authority. They believe the
In the
unitary
executive branch.
but they're not the only authority in the executive branch. Like laws that Congress passes are the authority. The agencies are set by laws Congress passes, and we have other reinforcing cases like the impoundment law or the impoundment case that says that you can't just like restrict funds and kill agencies that are congressionally approved
Oh
without
no,
Congress.
I completely agree with you there. That even if this is one of the things I know because most of what I research is just law, right? What I've researched for over the past I don't know 4, 5, 6 years, and when you come into these cases, like even Joe Biden with his with the student loan forgiveness, he got stopped by the court, turned around, reissued another executive order. It the 3 branches are typically at war with each other, and as long as they stay in their own house under their own
But you're not saying that Biden defied the
within their
Constitution, right? In the
plenary
same
power.
way, he didn't ignore a court order.
No, he just said we're going to do this again in another way.
Yeah, a different way. So yeah, that's the big difference between what Trump is doing versus Biden. If Biden would
Well,
have said
it's
like we're just going to keep doing it regardless if the court says no, then it would have been a constitutional issue, just like it is right now with Trump doing it.
Well,
the money. I feel like the money is still going to be. So I believe that all those projects that came out of USAID and any of the other, you got to remember that all those projects are just going to end up absorbed by the State Department. So
Even
any
that,
flag
even
that
that's
any
unconstitutional though.
flag.
Even that needs to be done through Congress though. Even absorbing like the USAID into different departments needs to be done congressionally because there's agencies made all the time that were just like duties from other like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was their duties were done by like 10 different agencies before and they just made it a singular agency to hyper focus in one area. But even like doing that requires Congress. If you're going to say USAID is going to be in the State Department, that's all still like, yeah, that would still need to be approved. Oh yeah, we're going to say.
But isn't there a whole lot of the programs that they do that are doubled up between multiple departments already today? So they find out that I mean I'm just going to use this as an example. Like USAID has a program that helps or that gives money for specific projects in another country, and then we have another. So, what would be a good example of that? I'm trying to think of one very specific example, and
Well,
I
I could bring
can't.
up an example of just like, for example, if Congress is
There's
going to
2
give a
departments that are
budget.
doing the exact same thing, and they're stepping on each other's toes doing the exact same thing. Where something is double funded through 2 agencies.
Yeah, you could have collaborative efforts for sure. There's not a you could have joint
Well,
task
where
forces
they
between
just
different agencies.
well, yeah, inside of for executing the laws, but we're talking about where they're going through NGOs to perform a function that we've delegated monies to.
Yeah, but that funding is all allocated by Congress, even the money that goes
Correct.
to NGOs. That's a big
And
issue.
I believe that where I don't agree with Trump is where he's taking congressionally approved funding. Now, I can understand if someone disagrees with it. All right. Me and you and everybody in America could scream all day about what Congress is spending money on, whether we agree with it or disagree with it. But if they have allocated the funds for it before he just decide, if he just decided to push the brakes on it and say, hey, we want to go talk to Congress and see if we can't get a law or get them to pass something that says that this funding needs to be cut. That would be the appropriate response.
Yeah, but like, okay. Either way,
procedure matters.
what Trump is doing is
procedure
against
matters.
procedure. No, but I'm just saying, like, do we agree that Trump is going against the Constitution when he like ignores court orders or just like destroys the CFPB without approval from Congress?
There's precedent for it.
What precedent?
How many precedent? Or give me 1 second. I'm going to look up the example.
Okay, and just on NGOs. NGOs get funding from a million different places, not just the government, but like one NGO that's really successful that we fund would be like, for example, providing independent media into authoritarian countries like Russia and China. So like Russia and China hate the USAID. That's why it's really suspect that Musk went there first, because getting rid of USAID only benefits China and Russia globally.
Oh, okay. I got it. I can answer this one a lot more simpler than so it depends on where the court comes from. So in the Constitution, there are two types of courts. One that is Article 3. There's Article 3, Article 1, and Article 2 courts. Article 3 is Supreme Court, Article 1 and then there's the legislative courts, which are inferior to the Supreme Courts, and they handle anything that is in the house of the legislature. So think of that as administrative law. And then you have military courts, of course. So you can unless it comes from an Article 3, and they have to be looking at the case under that perspective, not under review. That is typically where this is one of the things that make it really hard
The U.S.
when you look at a
District Court of
case.
Columbia is the Article 3 court.
But what hat was the judge wearing because you can. This is a big controversy in the courts.
Okay, I want to get to Raysl's question. He said he was going to
second.
ask something before, but I just want to.
Oh.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, it's super off topic. You were talking about the threat to democracy comment, and I was thinking like, yeah, I can sort of see why you think that now with the courts, him defying the court orders. But I was wondering,
Well, the Ukraine-Russia stuff is like a
don't you
huge
think
thing.
it was a Ukraine-Russia stuff?
Yeah,
I haven't been really keeping up to date. Has there been new stuff with?
Yeah, so
that?
Trump, remember all the stuff that liberals said about like, or the resistance liberals said about like Trump, Russia, Russia, Trump, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So Trump came out this week. He said Zelensky is a dictator with a 4% approval rating. He said that Russia fought and died for the land they got and they deserve it. He said that Ukraine got themselves into this war and he doesn't understand why they went into the war. He refuses to call Putin a dictator or say anything bad about Putin at all. He's been asked directly if he thinks Zelensky and Putin are dictators. He says, oh, no, only Zelensky. And now he wants to take 50% of Ukraine, or not, it's like $500 billion of Ukraine's resources, targeting their pretty much every part of their economy. And Ukraine was open to giving like minerals and everything, but that was not good enough for the U.S. And where you want to pull, Trump is signaling that he might pull troops out of every NATO country that joined post 1990, and pull all troops out of Eastern Europe as well. He conceded everything to Russia completely. Now they're strong arming Ukraine, and they want to leave Ukraine pretty much pretty much defenseless. But yeah, he blamed Ukraine for the invasion. He lied about a bunch of numbers. He lied about the funding. He's literally going into the most absurd rants about Russia, to the point where, like, if you go read it, I mean, the resistance libs might have been completely right about his connections to Russia at this point, because it makes zero sense otherwise, unless if there's some weird game that we can conjure up.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that stuff, but I was just gonna ask, like, during
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I mean,
during the campaign, like, they were also saying it, and like in 2016 to 2020, really, like, what was the threat?
So pretty much, like, when Trump was asking to shoot protesters, and like and our generals would say no, that kind of showed his ambitions when he was constantly asking for people to be deported for burning the American flag or jailed. That was pretty bad. When Trump talked about using the U.S. military at political rivals, and talking about military tribunals, and like when the generals that worked closely with Trump called him a fascist to the core, who adored Hitler. And then he has like Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon, who are known white nationalists, like literal white supremacists. Steve Bannon's not even, like, he's open about it, being close advisors to him. All those trend lines just follow in this direction, to the point where, you know, all you need to do is believe those things. And once you believe it, then you create the propaganda network, then you speak it into existence, and then you get people to think a different way. And then you get them, once they can think a different way, you can get them to act in any way you want. So I'd say that's where the big threat is, that anyone with authoritarian ambitions, even if it's like, you know, praising China for having an iron fist that they oppress their people with, and how Trump loves how Kim Jong-un gets a standing ovation when he walks in every room. Even those, or like asking for military parades. Those ambitions are dangerous for that reason, because they all start off as like, oh, this isn't really a threat. But then you're like, oh crap, like a lot of people actually believe like this person should be king. So I would say that's probably the biggest, the biggest thing, where it's like, okay, we're heading this direction. If Trump was not restricted by the guardrails, then he would have done crazy shit. And the guardrails held up the first time. And like, even Ben Shapiro will say, I think, Trump's dangerous, but I think the guardrails are going to hold up. And like January 6th too. Like, I mean, that stuff is crazy. And the fact that Trump calls the rioters from January 6th us and the cops them, I think, and he pardoned all the violent ones. I think that shows his like, now it shows what he felt.
He did. He commuted some of those sentences. But
because I know that there were a lot of people from January 6th, the big thing that I disagree with in January 6th.
I want to hear Raisl's response. I want to hear Raisl's response to why I said that. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
About the question.
Okay. Yeah. I just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the things that Democrats right now are freaking out about, like there's definitely some stuff, like especially like his foreign policy is a disaster, like this administration, unfortunately. And the tariffs, he was going crazy with the tariffs, and then the restraining order, defying the restraining order, is really bad too. But I just think there's a lot of stuff that people are like super freaking out about, and it feels like there's just kind of a lot of dog whistles going on right now.
Well, you like the Medicaid cuts and Social Security cuts, so that's probably, you probably wouldn't connect on those things. But I mean, superseding Congress regardless, I think should be an issue.
Has there been Medicaid cuts? Like,
but the Republican budget, like having Musk, the richest person like ever, go through these departments, and we don't know what they're turning on or shutting off or whatever. Like, I have friends who work in, security, and they work for our Department of Defense, and their military or their government credit cards were shut off because of Doge randomly doing it without approval, and that could put people in pretty dangerous situations. They leaked intelligence information of our, they want to leak names of our intelligence, officials. They have all the names of all these random, and they have zero oversight. That's another thing too. Zero transparency, zero oversight. When there's reports of them installing private servers and backends into these departments, we really don't know. We don't know what they're really looking for. And that's the big scary thing about that. It typically is not good in these scenarios. But I'd also say, just on the Medicaid cuts, that's one of the big things they're trying to do, is just fully delegitimize government. And what they're doing to federal employees is crazy too. Yeah, they're doing that through Congress, but like the
Mhm.
the ignoring court orders and trying to suffocate federal employees. Like the Office of Management and Budget Director Vought, his goal coming in was to torment and to torment, and I forget the other word. It was to what was it? He wanted to abuse federal employees to the point where they would quit. They've accidentally fired like 500 people in charge of watching our nuclear arsenal and like scrambled to hire them back. So all that kind of stuff was like a huge, huge national security breach. We might not even understand the scope of what's happening right now. And like and the Elon Musk thing, you know, he reaffirmed his socialist values with Tesla. We don't know where this information is going. We could have all of our private intel leaked globally. And when Doge launched their website, that happened. It got hacked instantly. The website got hacked instantly, and our full national security capacity was leaked off the Doge website. So I'd say those are some of the biggest things that people are like the politicians are worried about, but the other people are worried about like this really rich guy possibly stealing from the government.
Yeah,
Or
well,
stealing
let
from
me give you
taxpayer dollars.
two examples of what I'm talking about, right? So the first example is the whole $400 million contract for the Tesla armored vehicles, and it turns out that that contract was being pursued by like the Biden administration,
Oh, I'm not too. Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
that's fine.
yeah, and then it was stopped. Like they aren't pursuing it anymore under
My
this
conflict of interest
administration.
that I'd be worried about is like the Rivian factory, which got a loan from the federal government. And it's a loan. People like Trump talks about it like it's a a subsidy or whatever, but it's a loan. And they might block the loan now. And Trump is going to give preferential tariff exemptions. He just announced today to Apple and Tesla. So like I put on my my Twitter today. Those are the conflicts I'm really worried about. Other than Musk getting some, you know, he does get a lot of taxpayer dollars regardless. So that's a big conflict as well. And he's investigated. He's investigated by all these agencies he wants to cripple and shut down. That's another big issue. But yeah, I
Well,
put on
both of those
on
both of those companies also have CCP board members in their company for operating in China.
yeah. So that stuff concerns me. Even Steve Bannon called Musk a tool of the Communist Party of China. So that's like a bipartisan consensus. And with all this pro-China and pro-Russian policy, it's really scary. But the tariff thing, I put on my Twitter. You can give me your take on this. I think using tariffs to choose like certain companies like Apple and Tesla in the name of loyalty to the administration, they get to be the winners of the economy. I think that's more anti-free market than like, you know, the social democracies can, you know, Norway or Sweden or whatever can ever be at that point. Because I feel like that's a full just like you're literally just directly picking winners at that point. It's not even like a broad, you know, support for sector or anything. Like at that point, you're just, and it's also scary for authoritarian reasons. Like these companies control our information and everything. So what else are they going to ask for in favors from companies to get these like tariff exemptions? You know?
No, yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, it's the same reason I'm against most government subsidies, like for the companies, these companies, because yeah, for the exact same reasons. But the other example I wanted to bring up was that so there was this executive order signed on I think the 19th. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was basically saying that all of the attorneys, the federal attorneys, have to follow the attorney general's interpretation of the law, and people are saying that's unconstitutional because they have to follow the attorney general's interpretation of the law over courts. But I guess like my thing would be if the attorney general follows the courts, then it wouldn't be unconstitutional. So we haven't actually seen it go to that level yet, but people are already calling it out like it is unconstitutional.
I thought that was.
Well, they can disagree over definitions is typically where that ends up coming. Just like there are district attorneys and general attorneys within states that disagree, or they straight out say that there's no such thing as a pure trust, meaning that there's no one like
Yeah, so the reason the executive order was signed was because the law like by federal attorneys like I feel like wasn't being applied the same way. Like
The way
it
I
would depend
understood
on the
that is
third
that like
attorney.
I thought that was. I'm trying to think
I
when
can
it
send
comes
you
to
the
interpreting
executive order
laws.
if
If
you
they were
want
saying
to.
like, for example, if they were gonna say the issue here is that with typical government or executive authority. You can interpret laws. So you might have a firearms bill passed, right? And the ATF can interpret what that law means. But things like the SEC and FTC were meant to be independent, and that's done through Congress. So if you say like the ATF needs to follow whatever law the AG or whatever law the AG interprets,
Whatever
what that law
interpretation.
means.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
but it becomes an issue if you have something that explicitly through law, like the SEC and FTC, is supposed to be independent from that executive that executive rule. That would become the they have legal autonomy in those agencies. So that'd be the big constitutional issue here. I would say it's bad policy, it's bad governing to do this policy regardless, but that would be the constitutional issues with those like independent bodies.
Has that happened?
I believe that those
they at least excluded the Federal Reserve from the executive order.
I believe that them carving out those agencies away from the executive, meaning that if they have enforcement authority and they lay outside of the executive, which is the branch that is tasked with enforcing the laws, that would be unconstitutional. So
I'm pretty sure that the autonomy
Also-
for these agencies is intended to.
So they could have their own courts, but they could not have their own enforcement.
Yeah, but the FTC, SEC, like the independent bodies are made to be it's an anti-corruption move, because if you could just like influence the Federal Reserve or the SEC or like different interpretations, you could make things in the economy more favorable for your elections if it's not going to be independent from the executive.
Well, that's also why we shouldn't be allowing them to create being able to rule but via policy. They shouldn't be able to. The lawmaking power should be entirely within Congress's hands, and the executive
law
should be
interpretation, though,
entirely
that's the issue.
enforcing.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
it's interpretations that can be
happens in the
different.
courts.
No, but the interpretation
held up to the court.
you could have a broad policy or a broad law from Congress, and that interpretation can be wildly different from the executive branch, but it can still be legal. You could have a Democrat or Republican or a socialist or a fascist interpret the same law different ways and have those different interpretations still be constitutional. There's a lot of different factors that matter there when it comes to how the specificity of the actual law.
The law. So the way that the Constitution is set up is that the judicial branch is supposed to interpret the law. Not the executive can say whatever they want about it. They could try to enforce it in ways that they would like, but at the end of the day, a judge has the final say.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying if the Attorney General follows court rulings, then it doesn't become a problem. But it's like, but anyway, Jola, so this whole like independent executive power, or like these independent like organizations in the executive branch, I would say it's actually more anti-corruption for them to be held accountable by the people that are elected, like meaning the president, and the attorney general is appointed by the president and then confirmed by the Congress. So why would you think that would be less like akin to corruption, like, or susceptible to corruption than having an independent body that's not accountable to the vote of the people?
Because you want the bureaucracy to be bigger and have watchdogs, so you go through more processes, because that's inherently going to be less prone to corruption. Because if you have more people interpreting different regulations or more people acting on different regulations, the more you can dilute the power in the executive branch and specialize it into different areas, the less concentration of power there's inherently going to be. I could look up, like you said about court rulings. It's also difficult because not everything's going to be taken to court. There's a lot of different functions that are not going to be seen in court. Well, I was going to say something else. Crap, I totally forgot what I was about to say.
Well, like to me, it's like we have multiple mechanisms to hold the executive accountable. We have
on me when I went to Black.
Yeah, so remove partial. Okay.
Yeah, we have the voting them out, and then we also have impeachment. So those are the two main ways that the people can directly hold the executive accountable. So what ways do we have to hold these branches accountable? The FTC,
so like
the FEC,
the inspectors generals and like
independent.
The inspectors generals and the whistleblowers, which Trump is illegally firing, play a big role in these situations. And that's one big issue with our government in general, having a separate executive. because they are the ones that that do reports. The fact that Doge went in and fired the IGs right away, it shows that they're not looking at corruption or waste or fraud, because there's reports on this stuff already. They have not talked about the reports. They have not looked at the reports. They've just done political stuff. So like when you have different agencies and they make these cuts, they want to cut people that interpret policy. They want to cut everyone that has the capability to whistleblow that's not a loyalist. Especially because the reporting out from these agencies is going to do a lot with even legal rulings, and how those even how you act off of those legal rulings. You need the watchdogs to even report on these things, or you could have things happen in darkness that we never even hear about. So like I would argue that having the big names be the president and AG kind of even makes the deep state more of a deep state, because you're not looking at different secretaries or different people that are in charge of these agencies. And I could look up more on that, because that's an interesting question. I haven't looked at that executive order that much, but the question on corruption.
Yeah, I sent it to you in your DMs.
But like other like parliaments, for example, I do like that the Speaker of the House in the parliamentary system would essentially be like the prime minister, right? So that person would be in charge of doing laws, and then the president, you could have like co-executive governments like in France, where you'd have a president and a prime minister, but the prime minister is going to be the person doing all the legal stuff, and the president is only public facing, but they don't have the same executive power that we have in the US, which might be the downfall of our system with the founding fathers.
Like England. Yeah, if you want to go that route, that's kind of like they have the king or whatever.
Yeah, but the president in France plays a more he actually does influence policy in France. Like it is a president and a prime minister that work different parts of the executive. The king is definitely like only a placeholder, but it's the head of state and also the head of government that differentiates it. But I would probably say the biggest flaw in the Constitution I could find is probably the completely independent executive having all this power that it does, because then we had to make like bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is also a way for Congress, their ability to do oversight in the power of the purse. When they make agencies through Congress, that's part of the oversight. That's part of the checks on corruption. Agencies are like Congress's influence in the executive branch. And that's sort of and that's why Musk is railing against bureaucracy and bureaucrats 24/7. It's because he knows that the bureaucrats are the people that will call out malpractice in the government, and they want to root out everyone that is ideologically different from them, and make it like a more hostile work environment for them. And this is all in the Project 2025 stuff. This is their intended goal. Or just like Russell Vought, you don't even need to look at Project 2025. You can just look at what Russell Vought has written himself, for what the goal in this is. They want to make the government as ideologically pure, loyalist for Trump as possible. And I think that's just like having those intentions and taking the steps they're taking right now. I don't care if this is any president at all. And wanting to fire, they just fired another general. What general did they fire today?
While you looked it up, I would actually, on the Constitution point you said, I would actually argue that that's not the fault of the Constitution or the initial founding fathers framing. It's the fault that we have continually allowed the executive.
Yeah, that is true. The presidency has grown a lot. I would argue like wartime did help with that a lot, though. A lot of executive or power, like especially during like FDR, which had the biggest expansion, at least initially. Wartime always gives more of a precedence for them to do bigger power grabs. But yeah, Trump fired Air Force General C.Q. Brown as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on Friday, talking about history-making fighter pilot and respected officer, and he touted it as a campaign to rid the military of leaders who are DEI. Do you know anything about this? Like, I'm trying to see if there's like an actual issue that he had, or if they're just firing him because he's black. Like, I'm actually really concerned about that.
I haven't been really paying attention to politics recently.
But they're doing general purges too. Yeah.
I was sent the executive order yesterday. That's the only reason I know about that. And someone asked me about it.
It's just scary. So like the first thing in government first month is firing every government watchdog from the Reagan administration, Bush administration, even Trump's own people from 4 weeks ago, he's firing if they don't follow in lockstep. He's purging military generals. He's trying to grab more power for just the president and his AG. The FBI director has political enemies hit list. So does the AG. So does Tulsi Gabbard, who was identified by both parties to be working for a foreign government, and now she's head of our intelligence. Like they're following every single step that authoritarian governments take to to disarm the government's ability to self-police or to self-regulate at all. And I don't think any system can survive. There's no system you can make that can survive a population that's okay with more of a dictator type, authoritarian type president. So I can't blame the founding document for that exactly, especially when they're kind of denying, they're going against the law. But the legal, they understand the legal system takes a long time.
The most resistant, like
over
the
time.
like I think the U.S. system has been the most resistant to.
Oh man, at CPAC today, bro, they called Trump. They said Trump is not. They said Trump does not. Oh, thank you for all the donations. 1 second, Jeff. Welcome back, Jeff. Thank you for the donations, Jeff. By the way, wait, let me drop my coffee link really quick. Wait, does someone become a channel member too? Sorry, I wasn't checking chat. We're having an intellectual discussion right now. Thank you for 5 gifted subs too, Jeff, and thank you $2, Tristan. Jeff said, independent media, support any way you can. They are purging we the people out of the government. Yeah, but Congress is disarming themselves too. Like they're not even serving as a check. But thank you for the donations. I'm not used to having intellectual discussions on my stream, so usually I'm looking at chat. What did I end on? Oh yeah, they called Trump the living. They said multiple people said Trump is not bound by the Constitution because he is the living embodiment of the Constitution. They said Trump is the living Constitution, and they started the 3 terms initiative as well at CPAC today or yesterday or both.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
He
I'll
is the
say
living
like
Constitution, dude.
I was unfortunately wrong. There was a lot of stuff brought up that Trump had said to and then people asked me about it, and I was just like, especially the tariffs thing. I was really really hard on that. Like, there's no way Trump is gonna do the amount of tariffs that he's saying. It's just posturing. But yeah, I was wrong. He's trying to do it.
Yeah, and even if he's not trying to do it, he's causing countries and governments or governments and industries to look for alternative trade routes, right? So like even if he doesn't do the tariffs ever, like Canada's already signing deals with other countries for energy and for trade in general. So like yeah, when it comes to free market, I do truly believe, even from a free market perspective, that this is like one of the biggest overreaches I've seen as far as like bad policy too. It's not even just like, I feel like this is the tariffs. I feel like every ideology is against them. That any ideology that cares about this stuff is against tariffs. Like the other stuff is debatable, but you asked economists from Chicago school, from Keynes, anything, dude, or Keynesian, like any economic thought says, tariffs are a terrible policy. Unanimously, we all agree on this, and this is somehow something that he's been able to make into like an actual threat, and it's just I don't know, it's insane.
Yeah, sure. The difference is Keynes would probably be okay with like some tariffs, and then like Chicago
Targeted.
school would generally be just against all tariffs in general. So, but
Like the Biden tariffs with
and
China with the CHIPS Act.
yeah, I fall more onto I don't like tariffs in general. There's only like very few instances where I support tariffs. Like for example, like if we were getting all of our food from, I don't know, Mexico, for example, like if 90% of our food was coming in from Mexico, I would support either like subsidies or tariffs so that we start making food here so that we're not dependent on Mexico, if that makes sense. Or like same with oil. If we're not producing enough oil here and we're outsourcing all of it, I would say that we should probably start producing more of it here and put in government incentives to do it. But that's really the only.
See, my big thing with that would be, like, for example, right now with Taiwan, Trump threatened. This is why I think he's working for China and Russia, bro. I think the resistance liberals are right. But like saying he's going to put a 25% tariff on all goods from Taiwan, including the semiconductor chips and everything. It's like he's trying to cripple countries like that. But like whenever they talk about tariffs, they say yeah, that's true. But they always phrase it right. They always say this, right? They say we are putting tariffs on Taiwan. We're putting tariffs on Mexico. And it's like, no, you're putting import taxes on Americans. Like you cannot tax that country. You're not taxing the country. You like, we don't have the ability to do that. We are taxing Americans when they import goods. They're paying duty fees. or duty, yeah, duty fees or whatever. So it's insane.
Yeah, you can implement like a VAT, for example, like that also applies to exports, but um it would just be like an extra price tagged on that businesses would charge to export goods, and then they would give that money to the government.
My big thing, if I was gonna like do tariffs to incentivize like building chips in America, we're not there yet with production to do tariffs and isolate ourselves without falling extremely behind economically and also just like geopolitically. If we're gonna tax Americans more anyway, that's when I would say if you want to encourage this industry, I'd probably prefer the chips and science method of the subsidies or the grants or awards for different projects at that point. If it's between tariffs or that, when it comes to encouraging this kind of thing, when we're not ready for the industry, or if we just don't like have the materials accessible to us right now. Really quick, guys, I want to show you my I do have a couple more stickers on the store. If you go to the link I have pinned in the chat, if you donate to the link in the chat, the coffee link that you see, it reads your message out loud. Okay, that's the best way to donate to me by far. The best way to donate is the coffee link. It'll read your message, text to speech. So if you like the channel, you don't like the channel, if you want to do a super chat, if you want your message heard, it'll be read out loud. And also, on my shop on the same website, you can go to the shop on the page over. I have really fun bumper stickers. So here's my overall favorite, I think. It's protect the Constitution. America has no king. They're $15, free shipping. I think this is a pretty bipartisan message, okay? Protect the Constitution. America has no king. Liberty and justice for all. There's a sticker and a car magnet for $15, free shipping. I get like $4 from these. So if you are able to donate, or if you want to donate and get something in return, you can support the channel and get some bumper stickers. I have the Did You Google Tariffs Yet bumper sticker as well. This one's a little boring. I'm going to add more to this in the future. Then I have the Trump Epstein bumper sticker. If you want to show who you're going to be voting for in the next election. This is a good design. Do you see
Did
this?
you hear they were actually going to release the Epstein files? Or they said they were.
Yeah, they're carefully scrubbing all of their allies off the list. And it's like, it's going to come out, I don't know. If they do release it, it's going to be so redacted.
They redact all the names except for the Democrat politicians.
Yeah, yep. It'll be like Trump and Bill Clinton were best friends, and they're also best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And it's like, oh, well, actually, yeah, Trump, he was on the flight logs, but at the party he was at, like, his records are no longer there. Weird. But this is a good bumper sticker, guys. It actually is. Like, I'm proud of myself for this design. It looks like you're campaigning for something. There's some pictures. Like, this is a really good bumper sticker in the shop. The link is in there as well. You could do text-to-speech donations or do a bumper sticker. And another one, Real Americans Hate Russia. Real Americans do hate Russia. Okay, we have the Ukrainian colors. We have Americans. Then we have Russia in boring whatever color this is. So, yeah, thank you for checking that out, guys. But yeah, look into the Russia stuff with Trump, because it's actually insane right now. Like,
yeah. Okay, so you sent me an article about how he deported a veteran, or ICE deported, or is going to deport a veteran. He's not deported yet. I guess he has a hearing on like the end of this month. And did you read through my response to like what happened?
I saw something about like losing paperwork. Was he not a citizen ever?
Yeah, so they have this program where you can join the military as a non-citizen and then apply while you're in the military, and your paperwork is expedited, and then you'll have your interview while you're in the military and you'll become a citizen pretty quickly. And I guess he submitted his paperwork. The government lost it. He got deployed. When he came back, he said, "It's too much work. I'm just not going to do it." And then he supposedly, like, he had a PTSD episode and he ended up like shooting somebody, and he got put in prison for that. And then he got approved for probation, and as he was going out of this jail, ICE was there waiting for him and picked him up, and they're holding him now.
Interesting. Apparently, there's I'd have to see all these cases, because apparently there were a few cases of this.
No. Yeah. So there's been 90,000 veterans that have been in similar situations that have been deported, and many of them are even worse than this because they're for nonviolent crimes like drugs, and this is a law that was passed during Bill Clinton, actually.
That's really yeah, that's really interesting because it gets down to my typical point with the immigration process where I think it's a waste of money to, well, I mean for other reasons too, but it's a waste of money to deport a bunch of non-citizens who have not done, let's say they don't do criminal offenses. It's just a civil infraction and we provide no path to citizenship for them. It's like the cost benefit analysis of deporting them and spending all that money, and humanitarian concerns, and especially if a kid is born here or was brought here as a kid. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people when these deportations are happening. Like it's a majority of nonviolent civil infractions. Only less than, I think like less than half of deportations right now are actual, designated, illegal immigrants or criminals. I feel like that's a big flaw, but I mean, no one has any actual real solutions for that.
But what do you think about that? Because like on one hand, ICE is just enforcing the laws that are on the books, right? Like he's technically not a citizen.
Yeah,
He
Congress needs to
committed a
pass a law for
felony.
sure. Yeah.
He committed a felony. But at the other hand, it's like, okay, this is a veteran that like served our country, went on 3 combat deployments, and now we're just deporting him.
Yeah, he can serve our
Like
military, but he can't be a citizen. It's like, okay, interesting.
well, because he didn't do the paperwork,
Yeah, it's
which
so weird
is
though. I
like,
feel like that's like, or they always talk about vetting though. I feel like, unless if you did commit like a civil offense after the military or whatever, like in terms of vetting, I feel like I feel like they'd be vetted at least to the point where it's like, okay, well, we should change the law here if it says they should still be deported. But I guess we're never gonna pass any laws anymore. So hopefully Trump does executive orders. I don't know.
but yeah, I'm kind of torn on that specific case. I don't know. It's like, yeah, and he should have been a citizen because while you're in, they make you a citizen. Like that's a part of the program. Like you become a citizen while you're in the military. He just never did the paperwork. Well, he did it once, lost it, and then he never did it again. Um, so I don't know. It's just weird. I don't even know what to think about that situation. I think the more heinous stuff is the non-violent offenders that have been like I don't know, caught with like drugs or something, and then after the military and they haven't gotten their citizenship, so they get deported. I think that's the more clear situation.
Well, yeah, and they're also sending like very, very, very low risk immigrants to Guantanamo Bay right now, which they said that was not going to happen at first, and also when they said it was not going to happen or that it was going to happen, they said it was only going to be the most violent criminals or whatever, but they're sending very low risk people to Guantanamo now, which is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, but when they go in schools to deport people, or they want to go get 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds to go deport people. I think the governor of like Oklahoma or something is getting attacked right now for signing an executive order that or like saying that ICE should not go into schools to get 8-year-olds or something like that. Or going into workplaces. It's just like or like, did you see they released a deportation ASMR?
Not. What the hell?
Yep, the White House official page released a deportation ASMR video of the chains, the sound of the chains and the footsteps going onto the plane to be deported. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
That is. What the
We're
hell?
gonna be doing death penalty ASMR soon.
That's what our taxpayers' dollars are for.
Oh, speaking of taxpayer dollars, this is a really big story today. So they're running ads to warn immigrants to leave the country because they're going to get deported. But they're running these ads on Fox News in English, and they're being spammed on Fox News with English. So it's like, okay, we're spending a few $100 billion or a few $100 million on this ad campaign, and we're putting it on Fox News in English. And it's like, okay, you're obviously using this just for a political bait, just to throw sand in people's eyes, because you're not going to connect to immigrants on Fox News in English. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's so blatant at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what the hell?
I'm trying to find the ad because it was on today with Christine Noam. Fox News ad. Fox News ad. Here it is.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland.
I love Kristi
Yeah,
Noem.
man,
She
I
plays a dress up.
yeah, man,
I'm
I've
Kristi
been,
Noem, the
I've been
United
trying
States
to take
Secretary of Homeland
kind of a
Security.
step back from
Thank
politics
you,
because of all the
President
doomer
Donald
stuff,
J.
to be
Trump, for
honest.
securing our border, for
Just
deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting
Kristi
America
Noem.
first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return. I'm Kristi Noem, the United
It's such propaganda. I feel like we're losing a sense of just like common human senses at all. Like it's the old it's the thing that I always repeat about, like, you learn how to fight so you don't fight, you learn how to use a gun so you never have to use it, etc. Like being a man, the masculine part of it, the discipline is lost in American politics or lost in American culture in general, because you should not be taking pleasure in killing at war. You should not be taking pleasure in putting someone to death. You should not be taking pleasure fantasizing about like using your gun to kill invaders, or like taking pleasure deporting people. It should be like, if this is necessary and it sucks, you do it because you need to do it. You do it because it's a job that needs to be done. That should be the mentality, I feel like. But in America right now, they're really propagandizing it to the point where they want the crowd screaming like a big mob, like, yeah, get them out of here. Woo! Yeah, deport them, get them out of here. Like, they want people happy about bad things. And it's just like that incentive structure in your social contract can lead to very, very bad places. Like, that leads to gladiatorial combat, bro. That leads to, like, we're going to have a show with freaking homeless people fighting each other in a cage match to the death for profit. Like, I feel like we're leading to a totally desensitized world off this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, that is kind of crazy that they're trying to celebrate people like being deported. That doesn't, I don't know, doesn't fit right with me.
Like a tagline to them. It's like it's just a slogan, like a fun little thing to do. We're just, and I always ask people about their experiences with immigration, and they bring up Aurora, Colorado, they bring up Springfield, Ohio, and the New York apartments, and Lincoln Riley. And I always ask them because they say they're very affected by immigration and the violent crime surging across the nation. And I always ask them to bring up one scenario that's not a national news story. And often they can't, unless if they say they live right next to the border. So they're like, I live next to the border, I see this every day, whatever. But like 99% of people that call in and I ask that question, they don't have another example other than what they see online. Then I go back and watch Trump tell people, like, if you walk outside, like, your daughter's going to get murdered and raped. Like, they are going to invade your suburbs, women. It's like, yeah, well, that sounds like a little bit of a dog whistle. They're going to invade your suburbs. It's just getting people paranoid about things that are very, what do you think about this? Okay. So people view the subway as being a very dangerous place to travel, especially with New York. And this is only true of people that don't live in New York City. They see like the stories that are really scary. And I agree. They are super scary. The story of the person setting someone on fire or getting shot or whatever else in a subway is going to make a lot more headlines than another head-on collision that kills 10 people or 5 people, whatever. But according to all data, like, the subway is one of the safest ways to travel, even with all the crazy incidents. And you can crack down on those. You can make those a lot less likely to occur. But everyone's going to be afraid to ride in the subway if you're not used to the cities because of all the fear mongering. Like Trump saying that there's migrants in Times Square with supreme guns, whatever supreme guns means. And you look at a live shot of Times Square and there was no one there. It was just like a normal day. I feel like that fear mongering is also poisoning people, where it's like, we don't understand. There is threat in the world. There's threat in everything we do, but it's making people so afraid of the threat to be like, to support over militarization. I feel like that's how we get the next like extreme Patriot Act. That's how we get the next extreme surveillance state and like huge crackdown. And also just a lot of it's just not true. I get those too, by the way. Like, I know flying is the safest way to travel by far. Like, by far, flying is the safest way to travel ever to ever exist. But I still feel, I still have like an irrational fear about flying. I still feel weird on the subway because I'm not used to it. But it still is going to conflict when the stats, you could say to someone like, the stats here mean you're going to be safer, but the emotions test and the eyes test for them, the so-called common sense which I also feel in many scenarios will override the, logical thinking, obviously.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just like people, it's like that, especially that haven't like experienced somewhere like the subway or somewhere like, like riding buses all the time. I think it's just like a level of like uncomfortability, right? Because like, for example, like if you go to San Francisco, like I go up there every now and again for my school, and the trains always have like every time I go up there, there's always one dude that he like has to be cracked out and just like screaming and yelling at people. He doesn't ever do anything but scream and yell at people. But like that experience is gonna make you feel like the train is more unsafe than like driving a car, even though statistically it might not be. I think it's just that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely part of that for sure, and it is it's hard for people to understand. Yeah, if they never experience it, it is hard to understand. But I still have people that tell me when I say I'm going to, I don't know, New York or Philadelphia or DC, it's like, be careful. And I'm like, bro, I'm literally gonna be in one of the richest places to ever exist in human history, bro. Or like Chicago. Like Chicago, in the city of Chicago, it's beautiful. It's extremely rich. It's one of the best places you can ever visit. But people hear Chicago and they're like, "Oh, bro, you're gonna get shot." Like, no, dude, I'm literally gonna be in the rich part of the city. Like the issues with the income inequality or the like crime rate has nothing to do with the overall city. And in
Have
fact, a
you
lot of rural areas are more dangerous. So it's like, yeah,
have you had those experiences? I'm just curious in Chicago or New York. Like
I've
of
had
just some crazy
experiences.
person.
I've had experience with someone like walking and following and like saying they're gonna beat me up or whatever, or like saying they're gonna fight us. Like when we were walking in a group, and we just like went inside a building next to us that was like a bank, and we're like, "Hey, can we stand here for a second? This guy's acting weird," and he just like walked by. Because if you don't interact with them, they don't like do anything. But I definitely have. I mean, that's why they have the thing in the city where it's like, you just walk straight, you don't talk to people, you keep that poker face on.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's a rule when you go to those places. It's just not to, especially don't like stare at them. Uh,
I mean, I always do think it's funny and ironic though when I'm walking past someone and they're like laying outside, trying to get warm on a vent, in the concrete from the subway down below, and they're sitting outside of like a wine shop that has like $13,000, $20,000 bottles of champagne and wine and spirits and whatever else, and that brings out the leftist in me when I see that. I'm like, wow, this kind of sucks. Like, that's kind of weird.
yeah, I understand where that like empathy comes from, but I don't
How do you
know.
fix that? How do you fix that? Like the issue with that person, maybe they're screaming outside of the luxury wine shop, just trying to get someone to notice them. Maybe asking for money here and there. But yeah, how do you? What are the solutions to problems like that for the free
Yeah,
market?
the free market doesn't necessarily even have a solution for that. I don't think. I think but I don't also don't think that the government has a solution for it either. Like I don't think we can look to the government to solve that problem either, because uh, a lot of these people, and I'm not saying it's all of them, but a lot of them are definitely, in that position by choice, right? Like
Hmm.
there's
Yeah,
there's
I don't
plenty
know.
of veterans, for example, that and veterans when they get out, like especially nowadays, there's a lot of resources that you can use, especially if you have like some kind of injury and you can get rated at even to like the lowest level, like 10%, you can get rated at 10%. Um, but and they can pay for your school through the GI Bill or through programs like VRE. There's like HUD-VASH, which is like a program that helps veterans find housing and stuff like that. But there's like these veterans seem to be like choosing to like, a lot of these veterans seem to be choosing to live on the streets for some reason, like instead of taking advantage of these programs. And and the government doesn't seem to be helping that much, even though there's all these programs. I don't know. I mean, it's just
I guess yeah. I'm trying to think of what uh what programs are available for someone if they wanted to find stable footing, and I guess it could be difficult. I mean, even with jobs today, it's such a I know it's always been a problem, but you walk into the hospitals or fast food places or whatever, everything's a kiosk now. Like everything is electronic.
well, there's not a shortage of jobs. We're in a labor shortage right now. Like we're deep
Yeah,
into a labor
I know, but
shortage.
it feels like this is the big thing with economic inequality with society. Like why society usually falls apart when there's economic inequality, because it feels like you're losing control, you're losing power. You see very few people having all of the, or like at least you have the top 1% owning 95% of all income or all wealth in general, and you feel powerless. You see these changes happening. You see more and more people get displaced by robots, and it's like, well, you guys can go work in the factory, before we get automation there that can help reduce the labor force. But we are always growing. I agree. We should be transitioning to service jobs, in my opinion, which the economic conditions in America do allow for, and we have done that. But people in general just feel so disconnected from what makes us human because everything is kind of being reconstructed without us having any say in it. Like we were, none of us voted on Musk uh, buying the Neuralink company and pushing for brain chips or pushing for advertisements on satellites to be projected in the sky or pushing for a satellite surveillance system to monitor the entire Earth or to get AI art and AI mute. No one voted for any of this stuff. But I feel like it's just disconnecting people from what it means to be human, and therefore ruining everyone's integration and commitment to society.
How
Wow,
does that
someone
relate
got bored to
back?
the point. Wait a second. Someone requested. Why would you do this? I'm not opening the phone lines up just because you're sending this. Someone requested $100 in Cash App and said open the phone lines up. What's wrong with you? You suck.
How would that relate back to solving the homeless issue though? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just wondering.
I guess social buy-in in general is really difficult to achieve if you don't have if you don't
Do
have
you think that can be accomplished by the government though?
uh well, I know with zero government at all, these things will still be happening. I do think there should be some type of human first regulation when robotics get really advanced. I think there should be human first regulation in some areas. Because I think the main thing when you talk about efficiency, it could be human rights are not. Would you agree with the statement that human rights are not efficient, like economically, and the most like hardcore sense of material and labor value?
Um, I don't. It depends on what you're, because I think we have different definitions of human rights, right? Like, I don't think you have a human right to health care, right? You have a human right to property and to defend your property. You have a human right to speak
But like
to your
banning
body.
is banning slavery good for the market or good for or is banning like child labor, like 10-year-olds working in meat processing plants, or is banning like yeah, I guess slavery, like is banning slavery and banning prison labor efficient, or would it be
I
more
actually
efficient
do
to
think that banning slavery massively helped our economy. Um,
in what
yeah,
ways?
I mean it increased the amount of labor that we can have, like competitive labor instead of like, slavery. It's not really a competitive labor force. They can't compete for wages or anything. It it allowed, these people to, some of them made technological advances later on. Like the yeah, I think banning slavery has been massively beneficial for the economy.
I guess in a hardcore sense, if robots could do every job humans did, which they expect it to be somewhat possible, especially for middle management positions and white collar jobs being automated away. Would it be, at that point, it seems like it'd be more efficient just to displace the human workforce. And I just feel like and communists would talk about like a post-scarcity society a lot. If we do ever reach a point where things are so abundant, like or we see like in the UK, like 4-day work weeks being super productive and beneficial. I just think the obsession right now that they want to, I guess, move as a social thing in the government with like Doge, the obsession with efficiency is leaving behind a lot of things that make us human. Like I think it should be okay for someone to have a decently easy job where you're not constantly stressed and at capacity 24/7. I think we've done so much as humans, we've advanced so much as humans. Those developments and that progress, I don't think should be reserved for only those that can be the winners of the economy. I think we should have some system, whatever that is, whether that's making unions 100% able to advocate for themselves and companies are completely outlawed from influencing unions at all, or making the right to a union a thing, or I don't know what that tool can be, or just like, banning anti-labor practices so workers can advocate. But at that point, if workers can be fully displaced by electronics, I don't know. I just feel like as things improve with humanity, we should be okay with reducing work hours and work days. But I feel like a lot of America right now is mad at people who get to work from home, or they're mad at people who want to work 4 days a week, or they're mad at people who I don't know, who are benefiting from a lot of the automation. But we could also probably reduce work hours for everyone at some point once we get to a certain level of economic productivity. I don't know. So this is a very very deep question.
I agree with you to some extent there, because I like being mad at somebody for being able to work from home is kind of crazy. Like, it's not like it doesn't make any sense. Like, if they're able to fulfill their position and do work from home and just as good as somebody that's in an office, why would they need to come into the office? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Because they don't like liberals and they think only liberals work from home, probably. And they want more traffic. And that's the thing, though. People put up signs because once they brought in every federal worker for every day of the week, because it was like a 3 days in person, 2 days at home schedule, or like a 2 days in person, 3 days at home, which is completely reasonable for like office jobs on secure networks. Like, you can have your big meetings of the week be on those 2 days. You don't need to be in the cubicle and drive 40 minutes. And they have signs up on the roads leading up to a lot of these agencies, especially out of DC, which like in like Maryland, like Bethesda, and a couple other areas with a bunch of government agencies and also military. They have signs that say, do you enjoy this traffic being an hour longer? Well, guess what? It's because you hate people that work from home. It's like I mean, it does traffic congestion is definitely a problem, and being able to work remotely helps with that problem a lot.
Yeah, also like it's like a expediency thing. Like, from home, you might be able to work on like 3 projects at once, but if you had to like be present at each of the projects, like it's gonna take a much longer time to accomplish whatever the goal of the project is.
Oh, you can also like
yeah. The other thing I wanted to say was I think if automation does start filling a lot of these jobs, I think we'll start prioritizing other things. Whether it be like maybe maintaining the infrastructure around the automation, or like even in like if you go to like a post-scarcity society, I guess it's like you could say that like stuff like philosophy or might be a start to be more in demand in the market.
But
so
like the
I
people
think
that
there will always be
the only political movements that, oh, by the way, Alex, thank you so much for a gifted membership. The only political movements right now that would be interested in this kind of society, though, that can see a vision of a future where we can be happier, we could be healthier, we can benefit from the fruits of the production of capitalism. The only people that I could see being okay with that are like the liberals, which you'd agree with you would disagree with on economic policy. But then we have like the conservatives now saying, I don't care if it makes sense. We want to do tariffs. We want to go back to the 1800s. We want to We want to ban work from home because the stupid liberals don't want to be there in person because they don't work hard. Like all these anti-intellectual things. And like we could talk about philosophy and mental health. We could definitely have more social workers and pay social workers a decent wage and have people that help other people. We have so many problems that need to be solved. We could have people who are just like responsible for keeping their communities cleaned up. That communities fund. We could have a bunch of different local government initiatives. We could have so many things that transcend the basic things we do now, but like intellectualism is being devalued by the right wing culture in America, and to the point where like even JD Vance said the professors are the enemy, which is another Hitler quote. I mean, all the fascists say that Hitler, Stalin, Mao, pick your guy. But yeah, Vance said the professors are the enemy, the scientists are the enemy, the doctors are the enemies, and it's like that kind of friction in society is just not tenable as we move into the next industrial revolution with AI and everything, because they're really just going to go to replace, like I said before, the white collar people, probably customer service, and then also mid-level management if they can, or reducing it at least. And so yeah, I don't know, it's gonna be crazy.
Well, I think also blue collar jobs like factory positions are definitely at risk with AI. Like you could see like Tesla, like they have a lot of employees, but most of their manufacturing is done by robots, right? And then they just have like engineers there and people to fix the robots. So yeah, I think all of our positions are at risk of AI, honestly. Like
I just feel like the
I
current political
can't think of a
model.
single job.
I think Trump would put us in the mines. I think Trump would force us in the mines, though. I feel like a liberal presidency would say, okay, let's invest money in mental health services and healthcare and like first responders and that kind of stuff. And then Trump will be like, all right, guys, go in the mines. Like you guys gotta get the rare earth minerals so we can make more robots to replace more people and make more money. I just feel like that's the two ideologies we have. We have two paths that we have with the AI stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's because it's in the name like conservative, right? Like a conservative would be like um beholden back to the days like where we didn't have like those like robots to do the manufacturing jobs, which by the way, like I think it's a net positive. Like, do you know how many injuries happen in like factories and construction sites and a lot of these like harder labor jobs? If we could replace that with like AI or robots, and then they could go and do something else. Like
That's the
they,
issue
they,
with factories, though. Like the jobs that can easily be replaced by AI are going to be the ones that require computers or stats or managerial stuff or just like organization tasks. But when it comes to physical labor, it's very, very hard to organize a robot to do that kind of thing. Other than like, improving automation lines and stuff like that, but also the energy required to run robots at a mass scale would be too much. That's why I'm saying like they might replace all the jobs that are decision makers. Like that's one big thing about them removing bureaucracy as well. They want to remove the decision makers, so only the people at the top are making decisions. Only the people at the top are helping with policy guidelines, or even for companies, cut down the middle manager, just put that all to the top and have a lot less managers just driven by AI, and then have us work in the areas that are hard to fix, which is going to be farming or in the factory, a lot of other areas that are very rapidly changing that humans can adapt to much better than robots can, and that it won't be cost effective to replace humans. That's my big fear, is that we're going to get all pigeonholed into being like in really shitty jobs if they're successful with their AI.
with the energy thing, I don't think people understand just how much energy we can harness. Like if we were able to produce enough batteries, like just the solar power alone could power the entire world with like I think like 100 by 100 miles of like solar panels. And then if you look at like nuclear, there's so much nuclear energy that is untapped, and you might think it's unsafe, but the amount of nuclear energy that we could produce if we actually started like really leaning into it it's way more than we would need to power everything.
I guess my big concern is just like the whole social the whole social order, the social contract that we have that says like, do we need to work until we're 80 and then work 10 days a week, or can we go to reduced work weeks? Like, can we do that kind of thing? And just like the liberal worldview is conducive to that future, and the conservative one is inherently not. And they do push back against progress for the conservatives in any government. But I mean, even conservatives in the UK, like, I think you would like that better, like the way that they are in Canada or the UK, in these countries where they're not just like crazy white nationalists.
I
Where
haven't
they do
heard
talk about
that
like
one
more free
guy
market, like
say anything I disagree with so
Pierre.
far. The kick, yeah, I haven't heard him say anything I disagree with.
Well, they're like free
Granted, I've
market,
only
but
seen
they're also like
clips.
they're more socially libertarian. Like they're better on a lot of social things with just like what people are able to do. They aren't super crazy with the social topics, and I think they'd be amenable to supporting a different vision for the future versus the conservatives in the U.S., which always need like violence and anger to kind of build their political movements. It seems.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm gonna let you take call-ins and stuff. I was just really calling in because I was interested in the story behind that chick, because she seems super unhinged in your voicemails, and I was like, what the hell is going
No,
on with
I'm
that?
happy for the conversation because after hearing those voicemails, I'm like, I gotta take a little break from talking to people, bro. She's like, you are gonna reap what you sow. I have informed YouTube. You will be investigated. I know your name and your phone number. And it's like, yeah, you know my YouTube. Good job. I'm like, okay. But it is scary though, because
Yeah.
she has like a New York accent. I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, that's why Kit was telling you the thing about your name being somewhere,
Yeah. Oh
which
yeah,
I don't know
no.
if you care all that much about, but
None of those things matter. The things that matter is that as a
or it was Sprig.
society, we reinforce the
Sorry.
idea that it's not okay to talk like that to people. But we need it's a mental health crisis. The all the Trumpers in chat, even though we have less right now, but the Trump movement is a big mental health crisis for the people who are very like adoring Trump people. Like they are in love with him and they are okay with him wanting to be a dictator. So we have to forcibly put people into RFK's concentration camps to re-educate them.
RFK's education camps. That's an interesting way to frame that.
They call them re-education. I think RFK literally called them re-education. We need to re-educate people when it comes to weight loss.
I thought they called them wellness camps.
I forget who described it as re-education, but no, he said we need to re-educate America on health. He said that exactly. So I'm like, oh, but you remember, dude, if they do crazy stuff, they're not gonna like. That's the thing I always say about the fascism, socialism, whatever, or like Mao even, or Stalin, Hitler, any of them. Like they never call it like this is the plan to kill everyone plan. They always say like this is the pro America pack. This is the American one. This is the workers party. This is the doctrine of fascism. Oh, that's about just like workers' rights. Concentrate like re-education camps. Nah, bro, it's wellness camp. They you gotta watch some North Korea media to see how they talk about Kim Jong-un and see how they message about
Well,
that.
I don't. I don't know. I think you know how I feel about RFK. I think he's actually like really genuine. I don't think he's a part of the people you're talking about at all. He ran on a platform that was like super similar to Bernie's. So I don't know if I would
But he
throw
also called
RFK into
Trump
that
Hitler
camp.
like 2 years ago, and now he's like in love with Trump. So I think he's also a political power grabber. And the vaccine stuff, he makes a lot of money from there with his legal contracts and his merch. Like he makes a lot of money from being anti-vax.
Yeah, the anti-vax stuff. I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to get into it too much, but
Well, he just said today we need more research on the polio vaccine, and that's probably the most researched vaccine. And I don't know, we need more, but we need good science.
I was in another stream, the anarcho-capitalist stream, and he was talking about how he was conflicted on RFK's doing. I guess he announced like research into like a bunch of stuff that we already have like research into, like the vaccines, SSRIs. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff, and it's like, well, it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the government is better off spending money on this than I don't know, funding DEI programs in Burma. But
That's your first cringe opinion of the night, because that's way better than relitigating. Well, actually, no. The entire point of RFK is propaganda around the medical field. That's the whole point, and they're gonna fund it because it's stupid, and stupid things work in this political climate. But it's whatever. I don't care. It's
well,
okay.
we already
I'll
have
go to the camps. I'll go to the re-education camps with
so
RFK.
many studies
I hope he
on all
blocks.
of
I
the
hope he
things
kills
that
my
he
ADHD
listed.
medication. That'll be awesome. I'll have to make my own meth.
That is actually a worry because like ADHD medication works for people who have ADHD, but
Nope. We need more
I do
education, dude. I can't take my nope.
I do think that it's overdiagnosed in especially young males. I think it's way overdiagnosed
Yeah, it's
because
overdiagnosed in 100% of males, according to.
what?
Yeah, GG's if you
I
have
mean,
ADHD.
do you not see like how like a young male might just kind of fall into the diagnosis of ADHD without necessarily having like a like ADHD, if that makes sense? It's just like they're just how they act.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you do need to be on it as a kid. Like the criteria is pretty high, and it's like extremely low dose if they did do it. But it's like if a kid is self-harming or something is usually the criteria for like a young kid, or if they're like a danger to themselves or anyone around them. If they act erratically, uncontrolled, it can give them the ability to control themselves a little bit better. So there are situations where it's like definitely reasonable. I would say for the social media era, I think there's like a self-given ADHD due to technology addiction, but you can also say like Vyvanse is also really good with helping addicts. So even if you have a social media addiction, it can still, but that's scary too. Like if that many people suffering are suffering from like social media addictions or screen addictions because everything is so screen based, that's another problem. But I mean, either way, this stuff is all litigated with medical boards, and there's a ton of research on it. And a random guy with no medical background coming in and telling me if I should have ADHD medication makes me want to freaking go Luigi on him.
That does, yeah. Well, whoa. I don't know about that far,
I
but
didn't mean that. Jeez. I meant like Mogum because Luigi looks hot. Do you see Luigi today? Here, I'll take call-ins. Everyone watching, I'll take call-ins in 2 minutes. Thank you, Jordan, for $10. Hey, Joel, I want to become the famous soy boy and start selling your clothes for charities. Will you finally give your adoring fans that once in a lifetime 5% employee discount? The eggs are. Thanks, Jordan.
all right, I mean to interrupt you. I think I don't know if the streamer I was talking about, the ANCAP one is looking for people to debate. And I was wondering, would you be interested in a debate with an ANCAP? I feel like that would be pretty easy for you, bro.
All debates are hard. I have a
good.
good example of a debate where a guy who believes the Earth is round was debating 3 guys who believe it's flat, and he lost the debate against flat earthers.
Well, I actually think Fabian is pretty reasonable in his debates, honestly.
Oh no, I mean this. I just saw a good video the other day. I forget what I was even talking about, but yeah. I don't know. The world's going crazy. Crap, what was it? I was looking up something in particular. Apparently they fired every legal, the entire legal body of the military too. They removed. What are they called?
That seems crazy. I don't.
GAG officers.
JAG officers.
They purged.
JAG.
Yeah, they pay judge advocates general. Yeah, they purged all the JAG officers.
What? What? Why?
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. The resistance libs were right, man. Because this is what they do. This is what fascists do. They're following, like Peter Thiel said, like Steve Bannon said, who's in the like Steve Miller, like Trump's advisor said, they're following the Nazi Germany plan to destabilize the legal system.
Even make JAGs have they're crucial, like because. So I don't know if you know this, in the military, the commanding officers have the power to essentially criminally prosecute you It doesn't like stay on your like civilian record or anything, but you can face like real consequences. Like they can take your pay, they can restrict you to the barracks, they can make people follow you around all day, and so the JAG officers advise the commanding officers on like what is like legal for them to do and what's not legal for them to do. And so that's one of the things the JAG officers do. They also help with like immigration cases and family court, and that seems crazy. Getting rid of the JAG officers. What the?
It said they're looking at they're requesting nominations for the Judge Advocates General for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. One name that they're considering removing, the Army Judge Advocate General, LTG Joe Berger, would be a huge loss. He was an MP platoon leader with a 10th Mountain in Mogadishu in 93, was the SJA for the 160th 60th SOAR, SOAR, and JSOC, SGA for the Bin Laden raid. No JAG has more combat deployments. He's a commander's JAG. Are they removing him? That's
okay,
weird.
so they're just removing one JAG instead of
No,
like,
no. They're removing from Army, Navy, and Air Force. They didn't release the full list yet, but they released like that one general who they said was 2 DEI, which I don't even know what that. He's just black. I don't know.
No idea. I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what the Trumpers have to say in here.
He's
Some
black.
call-ins.
Enough said.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so like our government has been taken over by literal Nazis, guys. Like I'm not even kidding. This is the American Nazi Party in charge, and this tape of me saying this is probably gonna get me killed. But it's okay because Castratel's a little baby boy, and he's never gonna do anything because he's stupid. I'm just kidding. I love you, Castratel. Castratel. Hey, by the way, if you see this clip, I $5, I'll sell out. Okay, you'll shut me up real quick. Okay, send one agent to my door, I'll shut up. All right, I am afraid of you. Don't come, or do come. Just tell me to stop. You don't gotta kill me. Just tell me to stop. I'll be packing my bags. I'll go Candace Owens on him. Okay, I'll talk about whatever you need. For real.
9
Just
on
to-
his ear.
just to resolve
Resident
myself.
ANCAP.
Oh God. Let me. I'm gonna relaunch the stream, guys. By the way, relaunching the stream. Gonna do a new title.
Are you streaming?
Yeah, I'm streaming. I'm telling the world right now that.
What happened to the
stream?
private room, Jola? Do you not? I mean, I guess you don't really do.
I have to
call-ins
remove
anymore
that
on
one.
Discord.
The VIP room is now the private room, so you can come in
Bro,
if you're a member or
Jola.
if you're a mod. So, okay, I'm resetting the stream, guys. You can go to the horizontal. What's up?
I'd recommend like I disagree with like your political beliefs, but I feel like if you want to even like find some middle ground with the opposition, like calling the right wingers and like Trump's team Nazis, like that does the exact opposite. And I think
I
it's
really
just
don't
not
care,
true at
bro.
all.
I can just say I told you so at least, because they're not gonna listen to anything. So I mean,
I mean, I voted for Trump, but I'm willing to sit here and talk, and I think that I agree with you on many things and
his
disagree on a
advisors
few.
are Nazis. Okay, like Steve Bannon is a Nazi. Like I'm not gonna say Nazi, but he's a white supremacist. He's a white. Okay, fine. Not white nationalism and Christian nationalism are very close to each other, and they are definitely Christian nationalists. Steve Bannon is definitely a white nationalist. So is Stephen Miller. So is Pete Hegseth, who has the Iron Cross tatted on him, who believes in the Crusades and believes in violence on behalf of God. He's written about this. Jack Posobiec or whatever literally wrote a book called Unhuman, calling liberals unhumans that should be exterminated from the world because we're such an evil plague on society. He's literally in the Trump administration working on Ukraine talks now. Like, they are Nazis. Like, definitionally they are neo-Nazis. But that word, you're right though. You're right. That word shows. You're right. The word. No. But with the current American National Party, okay, would fit in the category of neo-Nazis. But you are correct in saying that the utility of that word, you are correct, is not good. It does not work. I do agree with that. But I'm also a very small streamer and just talking to a really small stream at this point. But still,
Fair enough.
But still, I
I mean,
agree with you though. It's a bad way to message it, but yeah, I'd rather say why they're bad, because when I say they're being Nazis, I'm saying they're being authoritarian. They're purging generals. They're purging the JAGs. They're purging investigators general. They're purging all the government watchdogs. They're trying to purge judges and prosecutors. Like they're doing every single step to destabilize the government and the U.S. globally. It's just like
At the same time, if you had enough confidence, you could make as of a reasonable argument for the exact other side.
that's insane. This has never happened before in American history since Andrew Jackson, probably.
Well, I would just say, I mean, you're a streamer, so I guess you have to um like make some content, but me personally, I just kind of just watch things happen and I try not to pick a side generally.
New donation from Alex. $10. I liked having a military that cared more about combat readiness than culture wars.
But
Thank you for
I think there's a
$10,
very good
Alex.
chance. I think there's a very good chance that a lot of what you're saying is just completely wrong too.
I mean, everything I'm saying is objectively true. I mean, you could disagree with it, but it's objectively, the things I just said right there are objectively true. About the people I mentioned, you can argue about Trump and whatever, or you can argue
you didn't only list some facts, you also gave an interpretation about what you think that all these people's beliefs are based on.
No, they are explicitly telling you you have not done research. That's the big divide between me and conservatives, other than Raistlin, who actually does look up shit. You guys don't do research, so you're not going to look into them. I have looked into them. Look into what they have actually written. Look into their beliefs. They are literal, what I described them as. And thank you for the $10. Okay, I didn't say the message. Alex said he misses having a military that was more concerned about combat readiness versus culture war. Interesting, Alex, because they would tell you the opposite. But I do agree with you that Pete Hegseth is on social media every day talking about culture wars. And I agree with the one, I don't know if it was a general or an officer or if it was like a judge or something, but the idea that using pronouns would make you less combat ready, if your military is less combat ready just because you have to, like, I don't know, accept that there's a trans person nearby, I think that's an indictment on the military. If that was true, I don't believe that's true at all. I mean, the military is not weak like that, but the messaging definitely makes them seem like that, which it has not been an issue with trans people in the military. There's no reason to kick trans people out. Kicking trans people out of the military, there's zero reason. There's zero cause for it. They point to nothing except like, oh, they're mental disorder.
Well, I actually would push back on that a little bit because I mean they have to have medical procedures like consistently. Like how does that mesh well like with I get like maybe with jobs that don't go to combat, but like if somebody were to like join not trans, because I don't think you can join while you're trans, but if someone were to join while they're not trans and then transition with the military, they're automatically taken off of the deployable status. So like I mean that would be a reason to take them off, like to get them out of the military, I guess.
If everyone was getting constant medical procedures, that'd be anything. But those guidelines are in place, right? But if you have those guidelines based on medical reasons, then that'd be like that would have to apply to like any mental condition, right? So like even depression or anxiety, if it was that big of an issue. But yeah, but I'm saying that having across the board standards for medical purposes because of readiness, for example, is fine. But if you're doing it based off of being anti this identity group, then that's what I'm against. Because that's the issue, right? Because you just said they have standards already. So like the trans people that were in the military serving, there was no issues.
They've been rolling them back recently. Like I think you can join if you have ADHD now. I think you can join if you have depression. But they used to have across the board standards. But they've been rolling it back. I don't know if I really support that. Because how are you gonna get ADHD meds in combat? How you gonna get the SSRIs in combat? Like,
For combat roles or for the military in general, though?
well, for the military in general, like you can
And
join
also for
now.
combat roles, like is being on base somewhere deterring you from getting like, and you might not need Adderall to function, but just if you have ADHD, is that deterring you from being able to use like anxiety medication if you're just on base, if you have no other, known conditions? Because I think like
Wait, what do
the
you
reason
mean?
they changed it, the reason they changed the guidance, right, is probably because there's a lot of people who do have depression, anxiety, ADHD who simply just don't hide it and they report it. So therefore, like if they don't get treated or don't go to therapy, they'll be in worse condition and be more of a it's more dangerous to do that because people will just conceal it, like conceal problems they have.
Wait, what was your previous question? I think
I
I
forget.
I didn't fully understand your previous question. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't remember the exact like reason, but I know like when you're going through like the transition period in the military, like if you joined when you weren't trans, because I still think it's not allowed to join if you have like if you're transitioning.
You guys can call in now.
Um
I open the phone lines too whenever someone calls.
but yeah, um it's kind of weird because actually I don't think stimulants take you off of the deployment um list.
Yeah, but do you agree with me when I say like doing it on the basis of just the identity and just saying it's a mental disorder and that's it? It's just like it's not genuine either because there's other standards for actual mental issues.
Disorder,
So it
and
should be
that's
up to
it.
the
Just
same
like
guidance. It's not genuine either because
Yeah, I do think it should be from a medical standpoint and from like a readiness
ooh, I'm getting a call.
standpoint.
All right, thank you. Peace.
Yep. See ya.
from
Mike.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad. So I saw the debate prompt is Donald Trump is terrible. Prove me wrong, right?
Yeah. It can be about anything concerning current events.
Okay, so your claim is Donald Trump is terrible. What makes him terrible?
The most recent example is completely lying about like Ukraine, blaming Ukraine for the war with Russia, saying Zelensky's a dictator when that's not true, lying about the aid numbers we sent there, advocating to cede territory to Russia. He reinforced every Russian talking point, and he wants to pull troops out of Eastern Europe, I think. So he's been doing a lot of anti-American foreign policies, also hurting our position on the world stage, letting China grab more influence as well. So like Trump's presidency thus far, one of my biggest things is he's been a big gift to Russia and China geopolitically.
Okay, gotcha. So you said when he's talking about ceding land to Russia, he's repeating Russia talking points, right?
Yeah, he said they fought for it and they deserve to keep it. And Zelensky, it's his fault for getting into the war, which Ukraine did not get into the war. He was invaded. And he also said like Ukraine was or that Zelensky was a dictator with a 4% approval rating. And that's also a complete lie. He's not a dictator. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So when you're accusing him of using Russian talking points, are you not using, USA or Ukrainian talking points?
No, because what makes it a talking point is that it's just like lines that are not true. So I'm critiquing him on a factual basis. What I'm saying are not talking points. I'm saying like I disagree with his talking points because he's repeating the Russian ones and Russia lies about this topic. And my rebuttal to these claims are the facts of it. So it's not really talking points. You could ask me, or you can disagree with me, and I could respond.
Well, I do think that it was irresponsible of him to say that Zelensky's a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that based on the history of the region and based on Putin's red lines, I think that the United States is responsible for Russia invading Ukraine. I don't think that it was
can you clarify quick what you mean by Putin's red lines, just real quick, so I know what you mean?
guarantees that NATO would not be expanded 1 inch east.
Okay, I think that's not true, but let me Google it quick to confirm. And you can keep going while I do that.
I think it was. I want to say it was George H.W. Bush's administration who said it, or maybe it was Bill Clinton's. He gave a guarantee that NATO would not be
Okay,
expanded.
I remember this. I remember this. So there was never a guarantee. One U.S. official offhandedly mentioned it. There was no agreement signed or legally binding anything at all. So nothing about that was.
So when you say legally binding, I mean, you mean like a treaty or something?
Like right now, Pete Hegseth said that Ukraine's never going to join NATO ever, and then he walked it back the next day. So it was something that someone said, but it was never like an actual position of the U.S. government to say we're not going to have, or of NATO to say NATO's not going to expand. That guarantee was never given to Putin.
I mean, you mean when you say a guarantee, you mean like it wasn't written down, basically?
It was never official U.S. policy or NATO policy to say to Putin, "Hey, we're not going to move past Germany."
I mean, I guess from your perspective, if Russia was in a military alliance and they decided to start stationing troops in Mexico, would you not see an issue with that? Don't you think the United States would kind of be forced to react?
So that was not happening with Ukraine. That's not why Russia invaded. I mean, if you had a country that was hostile towards you, then sure, but Ukraine was never hostile towards Russia. Ukraine wanted to get away from Russia's brutal dictatorships. So Ukraine had a revolution in 2014 because there was a puppet from Russia, and they wanted to install a more democratic form of government supported by the West. But there were not troops. Nothing about NATO was ever attacking Russia. NATO is here to defend against Russia, which is why it's not Ukraine's fault for the war or U.S. It's Russia's fault for invading. If Russia never invades, there's no encroachment on Russia or Russian territory at all. There's never been a bullet or a missile fired into Russia on behalf of NATO for conflict purposes, for attacking Russia, other than Ukraine in defense, which is not even a NATO member, but it's all defensive.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I guess I agree with you that it's not Ukraine's fault, but I think that broadly speaking, the United States sort of forced Russia's hand.
Why did Russia not invade in 2000, 2004, 2005, 2010? Why did they wait until 2014 to invade for the first time, to take Crimea?
So I was just reading about this the other day. I think what ultimately led to it was there was a memorandum signed by 12 former presidents of Ukraine or something like that, who basically urged them to try to join NATO, and that was when Putin decided to invade.
So Putin invaded after the revolution in 2014. There was already efforts there's been efforts in general to welcome Ukraine into NATO. George Bush said Ukraine should be in NATO. They almost made it in, but I think France and Germany said no, mostly because they wanted to rely on Russia for gas and oil. But yeah, that's been a thing for a long time. So if Russia's red line was, Ukraine joining NATO, they would have definitely invaded a lot earlier, but it's not by chance that they invaded after there was a revolution in Ukraine, which installed a more democratic government. The democratic government was Putin's big problem because they did have a puppet that worked on behalf of Russia as the Ukrainian leader, but that person was toppled. I'm pretty sure he ran back to Russia. I think he ran back to Russia. But yeah, the reason Russia invaded is because Ukraine was becoming a more free democratic state, and Russia did not like that. Russia wants control of Ukraine, and that's the only reason they invaded. There's nothing about NATO, nothing about anything to do with any of this. They are anti-NATO for sure, but that's only because NATO is made to keep the globe stable, and Putin wants a more fractured globe. He wants the globe to be more chaotic. NATO is a big reason we have not had a world war since World War II. But yeah, Russia hates it because it restricts them. But NATO's all defensive.
Assertion.
That's not an assertion. That's how it functions. That's the point of it. That's why Russia does not like NATO. Yeah, that's the point of Russia talking about NATO in a way that says NATO's the enemy, that forces their hand to invade a sovereign territory, a sovereign country next to them, and kill civilians and do war crimes. When Russia does that, and they threaten to use nukes and all that kind of stuff, they just want to blaze through Ukraine and get control of it. They want control of the former Soviet Union. So all the countries there in Eastern Europe that are non-NATO, essentially, I think Russia's going to try to take if the U.S. does leave Ukraine. But the idea that the U.S. forced Russia's hand to invade is just like completely not true.
Do you know who Scott Horton is?
Scott Horton. First off, can you respond to my points? I don't want you to appeal to someone else. I'd rather hear your thoughts.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with some of what you're saying. I just think it's kind of a. I think that this, like, I don't see Russia as an enemy of the United States, and I think it's bad foreign policy to treat them like that. So when people say, like, oh, Trump is Putin's puppet, you know, he's cozying up to Putin. It's like,
yeah, that's true, 100% true.
Okay, what's the alternative when we're dealing with another superpower that has, I think, the biggest nuclear arsenal on Earth?
You know, Trump supporters always bring up this argument to me, but it really doesn't work.
I'm not a Trump supporter.
Okay, so the argument does not work because if they want to threaten nukes, you realize that you're gonna let them kill everyone and take every country they want to in an attempt to make them not use their nukes. If you really think they're gonna use nukes, they're gonna use nukes eventually, or they're gonna have complete world domination. By your standard, if you have nukes and you're willing to use them, you should be able to dominate the entire globe. In my opinion, which is what everyone believes, is that you should have to, you should come together to stop countries like Russia when they start making these dangerous threats. But yeah, Russia's definitely a Putin stooge. He literally just said the other day that Ukraine's not a real country, and Russia's going to be Ukraine someday, or Ukraine's going to be Russian someday, which is literally quote from Vladimir Putin in 2021, saying that Ukraine's not a real country and they need to be a part of Russia. So like Trump is literally just reciting Putin talking points.
Well, okay, and you're just repeating CIA talking points.
Respond to the points. I gave you a lot of different points. Respond to them.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, to say, like, well, which point do you want me to respond to?
Okay, so I gave you a long list of things that Putin has said. I gave you why they're not legitimate, okay? And I said, that's why Trump is repeating Putin talking points. You're just saying I'm repeating talking points. What talking points am I repeating? Tell me why my talking points that I'm saying are wrong.
Okay, so for instance, Trump's a puppet of Putin. Because why? Because Trump is like actually being responsible and trying to engage with Russia in a non-hostile manner.
He's trying to give Russia every single thing they want. He says Putin's a very strong leader, and he says Zelensky's a dictator. He refuses to call Putin a dictator. Do you think Zelensky's a dictator?
I mean, he's called Putin a killer before.
Do you believe that yeah, but he won't call, like right now, he will not call Putin a dictator or a bad leader. They want a partnership with Russia. But like, do you think Zelensky's a dictator?
No.
Okay, good. Do you think Zelensky has a 4% approval rating in Ukraine?
That I don't know. I'm not versed in it enough to know that.
So Trump has said, okay, this week, he said, it's Ukraine's fault for getting into this war. He said Zelensky is a dictator. He says Zelensky's approval rating is 4%. These are all three lies. He said that Russia deserves the territory they fought for because people died. He has demanded like $500 billion of Ukraine's resources, including pretty much every aspect of their economy that would cripple them economically, and Russia would blaze through Ukraine. The U.S. has basically threatened the EU. If the EU continues to provide a strong support. He said Ukraine's not a real country. He said that, essentially we should give up and stop supporting Ukraine. He lied and said that Ukraine has made no progress in the war, when in fact, Ukraine has reclaimed more territory than Russia has taken. Everything Trump has said this week is 100% just like 100%. He opened the negotiations, giving Putin literally every line item that he wanted. So I'm failing to see where this makes any sense at all.
Yeah, and by doing that, he's likely to save tens of thousands of lives.
No, do you realize that when Russia takes these places over, they kill all political dissent? They're going to kill, if they took control of Ukraine, or if they're able to just like, if we try to appease them, they're going to kill far more people. Like during the peace talks in Saudi Arabia between the U.S. and Russia, because we're not even letting Ukraine in the room to talk about this. During that peace talk in Saudi Arabia, Russia fired like 160 rockets into Ukraine. They are violent. Like Putin's one of the most dangerous. He is like, I don't know why we don't put him in the same category as Hitler, because he's probably worse than Hitler. In terms of global damage, he's at least adjacent to Hitler. I don't know why we would arm with or why we'd make new economic trade deals with them and release their sanctions. We're literally just giving Russia down the list, everything, like literally everything they want, like releasing sanctions. We're giving them all the territory justification. We're saying that Ukraine's not a real country. We're saying that Ukraine's a dictatorship, and we're unwilling at all. Trump will not criticize Russia at all. He just won't do it. He's still blaming Ukraine. He's still blaming Ukraine for the war, remember? He blamed Ukraine for getting into the war when they defended themselves.
Didn't agree with that. Don't agree that Zelensky's a dictator. From my perspective, I just don't really see why the United States should really be involved in any capacity in a dispute between two Slavic countries. Literally, what does it have to do with us? And as far some things that I hear people say is like, because Trump and some members of his administration have been calling on Zelensky to hold elections, which in Zelensky's defense, I'm pretty sure their constitution suspends elections during wartime. But
it's so bad. Like, I'm sorry, but just the point that you just made about the elections, we've had Ukraine's opposition party need to go on news networks to push back against Trump's lies, because the opposition party, it's a bipartisan agreement to push the elections back because of the martial law. The opposition party does not support Zelensky, but they do support the martial law because of the war. So
yeah, no, I got you. Like, I'm not saying that they should hold elections. Like, I'm not really pushing that, but what I hear a lot of is like, oh, why isn't Trump calling for Russia to hold elections? And it's like, I don't know, maybe because we haven't sent like $300 billion of taxpayer money to Russia.
Well, we did not send $350 billion to Ukraine.
Okay, what was
the number was also a lie that he said.
All right, what was the number?
So we sent $73 million in total aid, and we sent $73 billion in total aid and $100 billion to U.S. manufacturers to produce weapons.
Okay,
and we sent them our old weapons that we were going to destroy anyway.
Too much.
I disagree completely. That's a very cheap price for helping a country maintain its sovereign borders, and also a country we had a defense deal with. We're not a deal, but we had, we helped denuclearize Ukraine. We helped take away their nukes, and in return, we said we would pretty much be there to help defend them if they were ever invaded by Russia. So we did make good on that promise to an extent. But it's also very good geopolitically for the U.S. to participate in this. In terms of supporting foreign conflicts at all, or giving aid anywhere, this is by far the most just use of aid for military reasons you can possibly think of, for humanitarian reasons, for geopolitical reasons, when it comes to our treaties, when it comes to global stability. If you want to say that it doesn't affect us, you have to realize, like, Russia and Ukraine are literally the same distance from Germany that, like, Pennsylvania is to Indiana. Like, these are very close countries. And once you get to, Putin pushing on the borders of the EU and pushing on the borders of NATO, then you have a much higher chance of World War III, a more destabilized globe, more trade routes cut off. We have a lot of issues that spawn from this. The entire globe's interconnected. You would have been someone that said, like, don't get into World War II, and then we wait until Pearl Harbor happens. And we're a lot more advanced now militarily than we were with World War II and Pearl Harbor did happen. But isolationism always comes back to us. It hurts us. Trump keeps saying there's big oceans on both of our sides. That's one of the dumbest, most low IQ, degenerate, stupid ass arguments you could possibly make about military relations globally. We have U.S. troops positioned all around the globe. We have trade routes set up that Americans benefit from. We just don't understand it because we have not gone through it. We have not fought wars on our own soil. No one remembers those times here, and all the World War II vets finally died off, so we can't hear from them about the mistakes of the past. But the global stability does matter. It does benefit us, and we get money back from trade deals, and we get money back from loans from the situation as well. So we make money from this. It's good geopolitically. It's good humanitarian wise. It's good to push Russia back because Russia is violent, and we don't want Russia to have any more power. Like, it's good for for so many different reasons.
Well, as far as okay, there was a lot there. As far as you saying that, you're talking about Putin potentially expanding and pushing into, I don't know if you said NATO borders or NATO countries.
Yeah, pushing west.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Putin is well aware that if he attempted to invade a NATO country, that would literally just be World War III.
Yeah, but he might be okay pushing those boundaries. He might be okay with that. That's why we usually need to squash these things when they start. Appeasing these things always goes wrong. Like appeasing Hitler in Poland did not work. It doesn't matter what treaties you sign. These guys are brutal dictatorships. They want to kill people. They're violent. They will do irrational things.
I think it's a little bit childish to see Putin as this megalomaniacal dictator rather than a logical actor who wants what's best for his country. I don't see.
Bro, you would have been simping for Hitler, bro. You literally, you would have been defending Hitler. You would have been defending Hitler. You would have been. You would have been that guy. You would have been like, we should be isolationists in World War II. It's never going to affect us. It's not going to affect us. How can World War II affect us? Pearl Harbor happens. Boom, we're in the war. Now it's even shittier because we waited.
Up until Pearl Harbor and Germany declared war on us, we were isolationists.
Yeah, and it was the wrong move. We should have got into the war way earlier. It would have resulted in a lot less death for America and a lot less global shakeup. If we would have been in there earlier, it would have been a better move.
How would us have getting into the war earlier? Wouldn't that have resulted in more deaths?
We were just selling no, because we're talking about appeasing these groups so they secure more power, more land to get further along in the war effort. We are isolationists because we think the world does not affect us because we're America and we're self-serving. Although our self-serving nature is actually not serving us. But in general, being isolationist and just making the claim in general. Mm-hmm. You called my opinion childish before I called yours childish. I said Trump made a stupid-ass opinion. So I'm going to say that your opinion on, it's in Eastern Europe or whatever, and Asia. Like, it doesn't affect us. Like, that's one of the most childish, misinformed arguments of all time. Like, even saying that okay, are you familiar with like global trade and how trade routes stay open and like what countries we trade with and like where U.S. citizens and military personnel live around the globe? Like, are you familiar with like global warfare in general and modern warfare and how complicated these things are and how we need military apparatus set up all around the world because of different intelligence concerns and new forms of warfare and just like global economic stability and like everything. The entire I don't know. It's like asking why addition is math. I don't know, bro.
Involving ourselves in a dispute between two Slavic countries.
It's not a dispute between two countries. We provided aid to a country that's defending themselves. We provided aid to a country defending itself from a dictatorship. That is Americanist shit. And that's even like Ronald Reagan would be talking down Trump right now, smacking him in the ass, telling him to be a good boy and to go against Russia. I miss the Republican Party is so far away from Reagan at this point. Ronald Reagan would be considered a liberal to the Republican Party today. It's insane. Like, I don't
know about that. I mean, Ronald Reagan, he definitely did it in a more like diplomatic and responsible way, but also at the time, this is back in the early to mid 80s. From my perspective, we're obviously going to disagree on this, but I just don't think that the United States should be involved in this conflict.
Well, you're not involved in the conflict. We barely spent any money on this. Okay, we gave more tax cuts to the top two corporations. We gave more tax cuts to the top two corporations in the U.S. under Trump than we gave to Ukraine in total aid spending. Like, we give more tax cuts to top billionaires and corporations than we do to Ukraine. I'd much rather spend that tax cuts that we gave to the ultra wealthy. I'd rather triple our Ukraine funding than give tax cuts to those assholes.
Okay, and I wouldn't.
Okay, then your opinion is dumb. Like, you're basing your opinion off a bunch of dumb shit. Like, I'm sorry, but everything you said so far it just shows it's a severe lack of understanding of how these global influences operate. And you're going off this book. I looked up the guy's book. He's also I'm gonna look up his funding sources because he also sounds like a freaking Russian guy. He blames
Yeah, you should read the book, man.
Yeah, let me look up this guy. What's that guy's name again? Horton?
Scott Horton.
Oh, he's a libertarian. Are you a libertarian?
I mean, do you consider that a slur? Because if I was, I'd much rather be a libertarian than a progressive.
Yeah, I can tell by your reasoning ability. All right, have a good night, man. Thank you for calling in. Okay, next guy. The author that guy brought up is tied to the Randolph Bourne Institute, which has connections to pro-Kremlin disinformation networks. Bro! Like, seriously, bro. Russian propaganda gets the dumbest assholes to think they're smart. It's crazy. Wait, someone just donated. 1 second. I think someone might have donated to talk. Oh. Thank you for the $10, Abaddon. Thank you for the Cash App. Thank you. Appreciate the donation. Thank you. If you wanna leave a text to speech, go to Ko-Fi/JolaPolitics. Drop a like on the stream for the algorithm. Drop a like on the stream. Hit subscribe. Thank you for joining me.
Call from.
Hello.
Hey, so I just heard the last dude, and I just felt the need to interject. So, 12 years, proudly serving in the Navy, and plan on spending a lot more time in. And as somebody that serves in the military, I have learned that our primary function as the United States is to protect and defend freedom and democracy around the world, because we are the front point of that stance. We are the example that should be followed. And that in mind, any denial of an enemy advancement is always a win. So aiding Ukraine in helping them push back against Russia, our enemy, I like to remind people, is always a win for us. Cold War may be over, but aggressions have never ceased with Russia.
Yeah, thank you for that reinforcement. I feel like this should be one of the most bipartisan issues ever. And like we do spend a lot of money as a nation on really interesting things. And I bring up like I can name 4 companies. I think it was like AT&T, Verizon, Apple, and like another company. We did give more money in tax breaks for them than we did like aid spending for Ukraine. We spend money on other things, and also they lie about the numbers on purpose with aid spending, because like they say Zelensky said he lost $100 billion. He doesn't know where it went. No, he said, because the U.S. media is dumb and Trump says lies about it. There were like $173 billion, and $73 billion were sent in aid, and $100 billion went to probably U.S. manufacturers to replace weapons stockpiles. that we sent to Ukraine. And no one understands that because they just want to politic off of it. And yeah, like you said, America being that force for freedom, and that's different for the people in chat who are more populist. Being a country that supports and gives aid to defending democracies, that is different from being the police of the world. That is not being the police of the world. The police of the world is invading Iraq and Afghanistan. Like that's the police of the world. Like occupying territory in Afghanistan, that would be police of the world. But defending democracies, and this is a situation where the Ukrainian people, we have a lot of wars where the smaller country is able to win because the bigger country sustains too many losses, and the smaller country is willing to fight. The bigger country, like Russia right now, their troops are demoralized. They don't want to be doing this, especially against their neighbors, which their geopolitical interests of Russia, like,
They started getting demoralized when Ukraine started busting out tractors and taking out their tanks with tractors.
Yeah, 100%.
People seem to forget the tractor brigade was a thing, and there were videos of Russian tanks being hauled off with simple farming equipment.
I did see that, but yeah.
It always bugged me because, again, in the Navy, and we have to know what's called the Sailor's Creed by heart, and that literally is one of the lines in the creed. I will protect and defend freedom and democracy around the world. And that is something...
Did you hear what Elon Musk said about because Musk said, well, Trump repeated the idea that Ukraine's not a real country, that they should not have gotten into the war, which are obviously complete lies, and lying about the democracy in Ukraine and blaming Ukraine for corruption, when in reality, the corruption in Ukraine that exists is because of the East, it's because of Russia. They go to the West because they look to the West for freedom and democracy. That's why they had the revolution in 2014, which all these guys now blame on. It was not an American-backed coup. I mean, was there some American intelligence supporting it or aid supporting like democracy there? Sure, but that was 100% organic from the Ukrainian people wanting to break away from the dictatorships and not wanting a Russian puppet installed. But like the propaganda around this is insane. It's all funded through shell corporations and different nonprofits that write about this kind of stuff. But Elon Musk just said yesterday that, like, what are they even fighting for? Like, the lines have not even moved for, like, 3 years. When in reality, like, Ukraine, I think I mentioned, Ukraine has taken back more land than Russia has ever seized. Like, Ukraine had fought back and reclaimed more land. And these are the Ukrainian people fighting for their lives. And I've heard the most pathetic, pampered opinions from Americans crying about their gas prices going up 5 cents for like, a period there. And it's like, if you have a problem funding this, then you have a general problem with how you view the world. You don't understand the world, and you're easily propagandized. It is really a tragedy. It's really sad that we're taking this position on Ukraine, and us not being a player at all in NATO, essentially saying NATO is useless and removing troops from post. Like, it's so specific too. Like we're thinking about removing troops from post 90s NATO additions. It's like it's literally just word for word what Putin would ask for if Putin was in charge of the U.S. And it is scary to see. Like, I mean, we talked about isolationism from the U.S., but now we have the richest man in the world repeating Kremlin propaganda. We have the president repeating Kremlin propaganda. Not only are we going to withdraw aid, but we're going to be openly antagonistic towards Ukraine, which is and to the EU. We're attacking Canada and Mexico and Greenland and Denmark and Panama and the EU 24/7. Meanwhile, bring up North Korea, Russia, China. Oh yeah, well, we have nothing bad to say about them. They're kind of cool. They're kind of tough. Like, really, bro? Like, you call John Kelly a weak, pathetic, 4-star general, gold star father? He's weak and pathetic. Milley's weak and pathetic. And then meanwhile, Vladimir Putin is a strong man. Like, it's insane what Americans are listening to and consuming on a daily basis and what they just believe. Like I said before, Putin's name in history should be at Hitler, and he probably has caused more widespread damage globally than Hitler did. At least him alone.
The sad thing is it comes down to it roots back to education. One of the things that it's victory. History is written by the victors, and America tends to be on the victorious side. Well, we glorify a lot of our victories. And the problem is we've glorified so much, people tend to forget. We didn't fight Korea alone. We were involved alongside Canada, Ukraine, or not Ukraine, the UK, and other nations of the UN to help defend South Korea against North Korea. We did not fight World War II alone. We entered World War II late, and again, as somebody that is in the Navy, it is required for us to know Navy history, and I pride myself in Navy history. And we won naval battles out of sheer determination and luck. Japan, by all means, had the better Navy. Out of all analysis, Japan had the better Navy, but we were determined. I always recommend one of my favorite stories to pass on to people. Look up the story of the IJN Shinano and the USS Archerfish. The short term of it, the short side of it, is the USS Archerfish, a submarine, happened upon this gigantic aircraft carrier and a small escort, and after a lot of cat and mouse, managed to sink this aircraft carrier. Reported it back. Intelligence said there's no such thing, that can't exist. Later on, we found out, the Shinano was a real thing, and it was the first super aircraft carrier. And if she had been fully finished, because Archerfish found her on the way from one side of Japan to the other to get loaded up with armaments, final installments of safety equipment, including equipment for flooding and fire control, as well as wings of fighters. If she had been fully equipped, we wouldn't have had anything to deal with that. The Archerfish happened upon her at the prime point and sank her after a lot of struggle. That's why I always say we won out of sheer determination and luck.
Yeah, and that matters too. Like right now, with how countries view the U.S. and like the EU is meeting, and even in polling with citizens in Canada now viewing the U.S. equally as an enemy, as a neutral power, essentially. Very few Canadians saying that we're an ally, and saying that attacking USAID first, and like you could debate on where the spending goes for sure, but the soft power is very real. The hard power is also real, but the soft power is what we'd prefer to do. It costs a lot less. It's a lot less dangerous. Like the USAID keeps our troops safe in these countries that might be more hostile towards American attitudes, and it provides independent media to authoritarian regions. But also, I was going to bring up Americans. I keep on, and also our DOD secretary. You don't have to say anything about that, but like he also says we our Navy would not be able to handle Russia's Navy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to hear that from someone, but he probably, I don't know, he's a dumbass. But anyways, we talk about NATO, and Trump talks about NATO like they don't pay their fair share. Well, NATO, we spend a lot in military, but NATO countries right now, I think like 27 out of 32 or something is meeting their spending targets. But also we never talk about, and I think this is a huge issue with the Democratic Party, not being savvy, not being connected. Just I hate watching them talk to anyone, because I don't know why it's not brought up in the NATO conversation. Just really quick, I'm sorry, but like the NATO conversation, Trump talks about the spending. The rebuttal should be, we are the only country to pull Article 5 after 9/11. We had allies die from like 15 different, I forget the exact number, but like 15 different countries. We had people die. We still had people from our allied countries in Afghanistan during the pullout. That's one reason it was so difficult, because we had to make sure all of our allies were facilitated as well. Like we are the only country to do Article 5 to get our NATO allies into wars, into conflict regions, to take their soldiers' lives with a conflict that we led, that we decided. We spearheaded that largely, especially Afghanistan. especially Afghanistan. But there's never that rebuttal in mainstream media from Democrats, from Republicans. I never hear that rebuttal. But it's like one of the most clear. But you're right. The education is the biggest thing right now that's falling in America. I'd probably say, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, no, and I am staunchly a centrist. I don't, I can't be a Democrat, I can't be a liberal, I can't be a conservative, I can't be a Republican. Like, I just, my viewpoint has always been, what does the Constitution say, and should we add this into the Constitution? Well, I always laughed at I'm glad I'm not a federal employee, technically, because if I had to sign these stupid loyalty waivers,
Oh man.
I would be in so much trouble, because my first and foremost primary is the Constitution. My secondary is the United States. I don't care who's in office. As long as those two are treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve, I'm fine. But we're not getting that.
And they're firing generals. They're firing the judge advocate generals. They're trying to purge the military of any dissenting opinions. And I mean, I'm hoping there's enough will in the military that, I mean, I know the voting splits are still 35% like Democrat, 65% Republican, but still I hope there's enough constitutionalists that won't obey unconstitutional orders, or at least won't fall to the pressure. But I'm concerned with militias as well and other forms of violence, because these movements that are happening right now, they don't go quietly. They never go quietly. They're not going to go with an election. It's going to be something. Something big is going to happen. Some type of people's revolution.
Like,
I don't know.
The oath breakers, because nothing that they did kept an oath that they took. The stupid Proud Boys, those they cannot stand them, because they go against everything that I stand for. I'm the first one to say, I may not agree with you, but I respect your ability to say and protest and have your opinion, because that is what it means to be an American. Whether you agree with me or not, you are free to have your opinions, because that's what it means to be an American. At the end of the day, I want you to have your rights, your freedoms, your abilities to do and say what an American should be able to do and say, regardless of who's in power. That's one of the biggest reasons why I joined the Navy. My family has been military for many generations. I keep it up. My brother has kept it up. And that's always been my biggest thing is, damn it, if you don't respect those rights, we've got problems.
Yeah, it's hard. And we always, obviously, I'll end on this. Like, we hear the rhetoric about like people overreact to certain things, which I mean, sure, some people overreact to some things. I mean, that happens.
Absolutely.
But in a larger sense, like, it does matter what people say. You can't just say, "Oh, they say things sometimes," because when you say things, you change how people think, and if you can change how people think, you change how they act. And that's the biggest, that's the biggest problem right now. Is we are losing those fundamental values that makes any society stand free. And we're talking about kings. We're talking about at CPAC today and yesterday calling the president. He's not the Constitution or bounded by the Constitution. He is the living Constitution. He is the living Constitution. That is so scary to hear. That sentiment is so scary to hear.
Office of the presidency is the most bound by the Constitution, as it is written in the Constitution.
Yeah, they don't read that.
It goes the president, Congress, then the justices, in that order. And if the president, who is most bound by the Constitution, cannot respect the Constitution, we have a problem.
And if the American people give them a free pass to do that, and then like right now, if you have that much support in your party to where they fantasize about you being God essentially, or God King, which they have said that if you oppose Trump, you oppose God, which is another monarch statement. It is more of a they want more of a monarch than a dictator, because he's not very. That's the thing. He's not ideological. The people behind him are ideological, but he does want to be a monarch. He wants to be a king. He wants to be worshipped, but he doesn't really have any, end to these means. He just he has no end point for this stuff. He just wants to be powerful. He wants to have that position. He is the definition of a monarch, because I know people compare him to dictators, but it is more, I'd say, more of the monarch system. But the American people are okay with it, because they've been so desensitized to what any of this means. And I think it is it's one of those things where we did see, I think 99% of 99.5% of World War II vets are now passed away, and it's like, this is the time for history to repeat in certain ways. And I'm like, just before I get you, before I take one more caller tonight, thank you for hopping on here. I do appreciate it after that last one. I hope I represented all the positions well enough. But I mean, what can you do if people believe a false sense of reality? All you can try to do is challenge them directly. I don't want them to appeal to authorities. Like, did you read an author? Like, tell me your opinion on this. Like, actually think about it. Because people that will say they have independent thought and call other people sheeps, those exact people are probably the most likely to actually be sheep in the way they think.
Yes.
Because they need to say,
listen to just one. You got to listen to them all and then do your research.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I strongly believe, and I've called this out. I predicted the January 6th riots. I knew, because I have a brain. Like, I knew what it was leading to. When you have this mentality and you're telling people their country is going to be stolen from them, and we need to stop this election. I knew violence was going to happen that day. I knew they were going to storm the Capitol. I have a video of me streaming during it, saying, "Wow, he's actually doing it," during the speech. And then he went to do then they went to the Capitol, and I was completely proven right. But even now, people have absolved that entire situation, which should have been, that should be lifelong prison sentence.
Yes.
Not
I
president
straight up
again.
had an argument with my family because they legitimately believed Congress was not in session.
Oh my.
I lost it. I could not with my family. It was my own family. And the sad thing is, my dad was 23 years Army. My uncle was in the Army as an officer. Like, my other uncle was in the Marine Corps. Broke me. It broke me to hear them justify the terrorists, because that's exactly what they are. They were not rioters. They were terrorists, because they had a political gain involved in it. And it honestly, it broke my heart.
And now they're firing generals because they're black, saying they only got hired because they're black with zero proof. Like, oh yeah, I think he was hired because he was black. Literally, Pete Hegseth said this, and now it's firing black generals just because they're black. Literally just because they're black. If you're a federal agent, if you're a federal worker, you can't even say DEI or diversity, or they want to fire you. The language policing, it's crazy. But my big thing is, this administration, regardless if someone's alive or not, or if they make it through their term, or if they're even in good enough health to run again, this administration is not leaving. They're not leaving the White House. There's zero chance they leave the White House without some type of huge pushback from the entire system, from the American people, economic catastrophe, whatever. And it's one of those things you never want to get to, but I'm like, I don't know what happens in this country when we have a leader that refuses to leave, that refuses to hold elections. And I believe the people in charge right now, they're not going to give up power. There's no part of me that believes they're going to willfully give up power through a democratic means. So it needs to be from some economic means, some other outside pressure, some people's march, some striking. I don't know what it might be, but we have to. I mean, that's a long ways away. But even 2026 is going to be crazy with the disinformation. But in 2028, this administration is not leaving. I don't care who is leading the ticket; they're not leaving. And they're going to lie about the election. They're going to try to withhold elections. They're going to try to lie about the counts. They're going to try to hack things. We just need to be ready for all those amazing outcomes. And hack things.
Yep. yeah, no, I'm not happy as a service member, as a centrist, as an American, not happy with how things turned out. And I'm depressed with the way that things are going. But
Yep,
I
definitely.
will stand with my convictions and continue doing what I do to try to do some good.
You know, even people that Trump appointed 3 weeks ago are getting fired for not being loyalist enough. It's awesome. It's really it's great. All right, thank you for calling in. That's enough doomer for everyone tonight. It's a situation we're in, but definitely appreciate your input. Everyone stand on their convictions. Don't and no one let up now. They don't have the power now they claim they have. They don't have the power to do what they want to do. They will in a few years if we don't stand up. They will. It will be dangerous to be in politics in a few years if we don't stand up. But they don't have that power now. So we need to every day, like AOC said, we need to, all of us who care about the Constitution, care about freedoms, care about checks and balances, care about the reason this country is a damn thing. We need to push every day in whatever way we can against this, and don't make people scared. They don't have the power they claim they have. They can send you letters and dumb lawsuits. They don't have the enforcement mechanisms. There are enough people that are principled enough. They have not fully corrupted anything. We have federal workers fighting the battle every day. We have people in the military still pushing back ideologically, still keeping a line of communication open. We have intelligence officers. We have a bunch of people in place still that'll prevent really crazy things from happening, but we need to make sure that this next year, there's no let up. There's no let up on this at all. Or we will be in a situation in 4 years where it's not or it's not safe to be in politics. But yeah, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night, man. Thank you. Man. Should I do one more? Go Epoch's new design. Where's the new design at? What new design? Oh yeah, guys, I'm selling bumper stickers. If you want to buy a bumper sticker, it's on my coffee link. It's the same link for the text to speech, but it's in the shop. Really good bumper stickers. Here's one of them. It's a Trump and Epstein campaign sticker. This is really pretty, actually. Really pretty for the back of your car. Trump Epstein 2028, baby. Trump Epstein. I'm really proud of this one. I'm really proud. This one's really clean. Okay. Then we have, did you Google tariffs yet? This one's I'm gonna make that one a little bit different. I'm also gonna edit this one maybe. Real Americans hate Russia. We have real Americans hate Russia. Because real Americans do hate Russia. It's just a fact. It's just a fact, dude. And protect the Constitution. America has no king. Liberty and justice for all. These are all $15 on my website on Coffee. It's the same link you can donate to that I have in the chat. And it's in my channel descriptions. You go to shop. You go to shop. America has no king. Protect the Constitution. Liberty and justice for all. $15, free shipping. Okay? It's a way to donate to the channel and to get something out of it. So please consider placing an order if you want a bumper sticker, man. Appreciate all the support. The algorithm gods did not benefit me today.
Really don't get to see. Well, I see pictures that you fortunately don't get to see. You don't want to see them. And that is a killing field.
What a bluffer.
We have young soldiers being killed, thousands a week, and we got to get it over with. It's bad for Russia, and it's bad for Ukraine, and it's bad for us on a humanitarian basis. I've had very good talks with Putin, and I've had not such good talks with Ukraine. They don't have any cards, but they play it tough.
Oh, is it the Elon Musk one? The Elon Musk design? This one? This is fire. This is fire, dude. Did you make this? Did Epoch make this? Can I sell these? Can I sell stickers of these? It does slap, dude. This is awesome. This is fire. Ooh, look, a comment. Let's see. Let's see this big comment. Thank you for $5, Jordan. If I buy 500 from your website, can you send them out to your mods so they can at least eat something made of quality soy boy? Thank you. I am soy boy. Maybe. No, I'm sending the mods a cooked hot dog. I already told them that. They're getting cooked glizzies in the mail. All right. That's hilarious. You are triggered by the king comment. He is playing the media at their own game, and you are just eating it up. Do you think he really wants to be king, LMAO? Are you serious? It's not fair to talk about. I can't talk to you. I can't respond to you. I can't be. I am not an ableist person, dude. I can't participate in that. Thank you so much for the donation, MP. Saying keep it up. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You can't respond, but you read it? No, I'm not responding to dumb comments. You can call in. I'm saving my response to dumb comments on my channel. Someone said, Jola Politics, do you think when you have sex, you'll become a MAGA extremist? Why are you people so weird, bro? Oh, no. Another voicemail?
Honestly, we all agree on this. And this is some food here so that we're not and tariff the same duty to you.
Hey, Emily. It's me, Sarah. Can't wait.
What? Oh, these are people calling tonight.
Hey, let's talk about the scumbag piece of fuck Jews of Israel and the Zionist Jews and pretty much any other Jew. Donald Trump isn't the problem. The Jews are the problem, you stupid fuck. You have my number.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll take one more caller for tonight. I'll take one more caller. Thank you for the support. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I'll take one more caller, then I'm going to sleep. One more caller. How do I argue the, I just need to respond, like I said before, to the people watching. When they say, like, why is it beneficial to us? Or, like, how can Russia affect America? We're over here and they're over there, bro. How can they affect America? They're so far away. I feel like I shouldn't need to answer that question to a grown man. I'm sorry, but...
Sebastian.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm pretty all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Just got back from Ukraine, and I would love to discuss it with you if that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No, so what are your main concerns? Because I think we agree that Russia should be stopped and that there really shouldn't be any concessions to Russia. But what's your opinion? I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm very anti what America is doing right now. I think America and Americans in general are really pampered. And we cry about really dumb things like sending aid money to Ukraine, which has not affected Americans at all. Like sending aid money to Ukraine has not affected the American way of life or the American worker or anyone in America at all. They're just mad about it. And it's propaganda for why they want to withdraw aid. Because they're okay with giving huge tax cuts to huge billionaires and stuff, but they're not okay with this, which is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, Russia right now, the goal should be funding Ukraine 100%, giving them whatever aid they need. I would triple it if I could. I would pay more tax dollars if I needed to, which we would not need to. We could just, not give huge tax cuts to like big corporations that want to steal from us and kill us. But yeah, I mean, I sound like a liberal. I sound like a socialist. But no, I mean, the biggest goal with a country like Russia, if you have a chance to support the defense initiatives of Ukraine, you do that. For geopolitical reasons, for humanitarian reasons, for global structures, for maintaining the sovereign status of democratic nations. Like for all of these reasons, you want to shut off that flame right away, because once that fire spreads, everyone says like, oh, they're not going to do this. It's anti-Russia to do. These are not rational movements ever. Like, having wars on multiple fronts in Nazi Germany was not rational. Closing in on Poland was not really rational for stability. They want power grabs. They are just geared towards violence and domination, and they're never going to stop. No matter what kind of appeasement we give them, they're not going to stop. And Americans, I really do think they're just making arguments that are anti-Ukraine, literally just because if they worship a certain presidential person, then they'll just mimic whatever they say, like wind up toys. But yeah, I mean, I'm 100%, yeah.
So, coming from Ukraine, I can tell you one thing, because I was there when the war started, right? And going back and forth for the past 3 years, I can tell you that during the last administration, I asked my father-in-law, who lives there, and he's also in the armed forces. He's in the airborne brigade, and I asked him,
Hello? Yeah, you cut out for a second. I cannot hear you if you're talking. I don't know if your microphone cut off or if you connected to a different.
Kiev, right? There's a memorial where there's a park filled with flags, and each flag represents a death. It's very, very humbling and sad, right? People in Ukraine do want to fight for their country, but they're so tired of the killing. So many people, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, all dead. Of course, for stupid dictator like Putin, I think he should be hanged. But a lot of people in Ukraine, before Trump's weird ass 360 turn, they liked him. They thought that he could actually bring an end to the conflict, but I don't agree with his methods. The only thing I can think of is with this new deal where Ukraine pays back the United States by giving 50% of their minerals, that then Ukraine would be a vested interest to the United States, which would cause them, American troops to be there, right? American interests, along with the British, French, and German support and Polish troops. They said that they were going to be sending them to peacekeep. So there's a lot of things to hope out for, but I don't.
I hope so. I mean, Trump is legitimizing every talking point about Russia. He basically said that Russia deserves to own Ukraine multiple times and lied about the polling, lied about the funding, lied about Zelensky, lied about a dictatorship. He lied about the martial law being a dictatorial thing when it's a democratic function. Their opposition party supports the martial law and suspending the elections as well, because that's what you do. If we cared about deaths in Ukraine, we would not have stopped helping fund the Patriot missile defense systems, which are now empty. I'm pretty sure during the talks with Saudi Arabia.
They're not. So the Patriot air defense systems, they are in very strategic places. So right now, Russia's peppering, I would say peppering, because they launch missiles and attacks every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the attacks are actually from Iranian Shahed drones, which they're not going to waste a Patriot missile on the Shahed drones.
They did run out, by the way. They did run out in the recent days because we stopped helping with the facilitation of them. So during the meeting with Saudi Arabia,
they did not
or in
run
Saudi
out.
Arabia, in different. You're saying the pepper strategy and the strategic placement. They're being overwhelmed, and the U.S. has been cutting off aid. And during the Saudi Arabia meeting with Russia and the U.S., because we're blocking them out of every meeting, and Trump said that Zelensky sucks and lies, and that Putin's super honest and strong. During that meeting alone, 150 missiles were fired, and these different what you're saying strategically. That's what they just reported, I think, yesterday.
But it's not only the United States
were depleted.
that supplies
Patriots. It's also capacity.
Denmark,
right?
Netherlands. I mean, the French just gave Rafale fighter jets, and they use the Rafale F-16s for anti-air missile defense. So, I mean, Ukraine is still holding out strong. So hopefully with allied support from Europe as much as because I gotta be honest, most of Europe is a bunch of pussies.
It's a licensing issue from the U.S. though with the Patriot missiles because the main concern is from the U.S. Ukraine is not allowed to produce missiles for these.
But they're producing their own missiles.
No,
Ukraine
but they
is
don't have a
producing
license because Zelensky is proposing that Ukraine is okay with their Patriot systems right now, but they would need a license from the U.S. to produce missiles in exchange for absence of American military personnel. And that currently, I'm trying to see exactly what he said the other day.
If you've never been to Ukraine, I definitely recommend you going. It's a very beautiful country.
Not right now, dude. I'm not going. I'm afraid of Europe.
Why is that?
Because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to be close to Russia, dude. I mean, I would probably go if I had money. I know some people that went on trips there for aid and everything, and to help out, in general. And like, I feel like it should be intuitive for people. Like, I can't stand Americans right now. But the fact that Ukraine is like begging journalists to come in, you know, and we can't even talk to a Russian civilian without like, if they express dissent of the government, they're going to be thrown off a skyscraper. Like, any American looking at this situation, it has to be just a lack of information or just being lied to or whatever. Because it's just so ridiculous to say Ukraine is not free and dictatorship, but Russia's fine. And accepting that from a U.S. president, it's just, I can't. It hurts my brain. But I mean, that's the point of it. Like, I woke up that day and saw the tweet about that, about like, Zelensky better act quick or they're not going to have a country anymore. And I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, and Americans are like, I'm not want to give more money to them. Like, they should fight on their own. It's like Americans haven't been through shit like this in our home soil or in our homeland or in our country's soil. So, I mean,
that I've noticed,
it's just painful
being
to watch.
abroad, is us as Americans, we don't appreciate what we have at home.
Yeah, definitely not.
So we live so good that we have nothing else to worry about. And what is the only thing we can argue about? Politics.
We're
Because
giving
that's
too
the
much
only
money
thing
to
that can be brought up.
Ukraine. It's so stupid. It has not affected one American's life to give aid to Ukraine. It has not affected one American's life to give aid to Ukraine. It's so annoying to hear people talk about it. Like, especially working class people that barely pay taxes. It's just like, it's just so frustrating. They just want to turn people against each other to hate each other. But what you just said is completely true. Americans are too bored, so they spend all their time freaking crying and complaining about stuff. It's just, I don't know.
Now there is things like if you ask an Eastern European what they think of the Biden administration, they'll tell you brutally honest. They thought them as cowards. Like, they thought Biden did not do enough.
I mean, I agree. Yeah.
Biden was too slow with the aid. He was trickling it in. Yeah.
And authorizing the strikes inside Russia very late too. They probably could have done that a lot earlier. Like literally last second. Just because if Trump doesn't win the election, they probably wait even longer. That's the thing. Like that was like a last ditch effort to give them a little bit more support, but that should have been happening right away. Like, it's crazy.
Right. But a lot of the Ukrainians feel, and this is firsthand counts, so this is not just from journalists, media, this is firsthand counts. They're stating that they like Trump as a powerful leader that can actually get shit done. But their main worry, or the things they don't like, is the rhetoric, but they're confident in his process. So,
well,
and I'm
I mean,
give you an example.
they're hoping. They're taking the closest chance. So
right now, all we can do is hope. But I honestly believe 3 things could happen. Right? What the media is portraying, Trump will just give up on Ukraine, and Russia will take it over, and it'll be another Belarus situation.
Oh,
right?
Don't say media though. You can say White House. Like, they have said this. I don't watch the media. I watch the White House statements. But okay.
So 2, Zelensky agrees to this deal where Ukraine pays back the aid that we gave them in return. Ukraine gives them 50% of their rare earth minerals such as uranium, titanium, lithium, and cobalt, and gold too. And in turn, they would give defense, right? let's just say the United States is there for 20 years, that's 20 years of guaranteed protection, while the EU can bolster up their forces and provide more security on the DMZ, right? Or option 3, U.S. says we're out of here, and all of Europe has to come up with a way to protect Ukraine and bolster up its European forces all by themselves. So those are the 3 ways that could happen. I don't see the first one happening at all, because if Trump just gives Ukraine to Russia, that's just weak on Trump, and Trump is an ego man, right? So it wouldn't make sense for, his first, let's just say, win to let a dictatorial country take over a democratic.
He won't even say something mean about Putin though. Like he won't even say something bad about Putin. He'll call Zelensky a dictator and say that like Ukraine started the war, and never, like, he refuses. He actively avoids saying anything bad about Putin.
But didn't he state today that Russia did start the conflict?
Did they pressure him into finally saying it?
Well, I don't know if it was pressure, but he said it.
Well,
today.
after 3 days of saying that Ukraine is not a real country and should be taken by Russia, unless if like the worst, the other interpretation is that he's just like scaring Ukraine into the point where they need to give up an exorbitant amount of resources that they were not going to give up before. He might just be scaring them and brutalizing them until they finally just say, fine, we'll do it, for the security guarantees. But we get all your oil and gas and minerals.
Here's another way that a lot of people over there, and myself included, think when you have someone as crazy as Putin, right? To bring them to the negotiating table, you're not going to say, "Oh, I'm gonna charge you with war crimes. I'm gonna, demolish you, this, and that," because then they're just going to shut up and do their own thing. I feel like, and a lot of other people feel like, that this is a way for him to try to reel Russia into the negotiating table, and once peace is agreed, as I forgot who mentioned it. It was it was some general that was on the news not that long ago, stated that Ukraine joining NATO is not out of the question. It may be out of the peace deals, but once there's peace, there's nothing that stops Ukraine from joining NATO. Because during the peace talks, and I've seen this in I believe Turkey mentioned it, that they're not opposed to Ukraine joining NATO, and if there's peace, because a country cannot join NATO while it's at war, but once there's peace, then they can bring another country into the fold. So that's another thing.
I've just seen no indication at all of that. It seems like, they said Hegseth made a mistake when he said I think he just said the quiet part out loud to start with. I've seen nothing globally at all with American foreign policy, with USAID, with our global influence, with our own intelligence and Department of Defense. Like it is true, we do have Tulsi Gabbard, who is very entrenched in Russian politics, and did the private Assad meeting, and she's constantly praised on Russian TV, and she is someone that blamed Ukraine for the invasion up until her hearing, of course, for national intelligence. But we are following a lot of things globally that weaken the U.S. against Russia and China. I hope you're right. I hope your wishful thinking is right. I know the Ukrainian people are hoping for, it's their only chance. It's the only chance at any safety in Ukraine, and they're in a terrible position. But hopefully something works out. People also said Trump is going to be good for Palestinians, and he wants to literally ethnically cleanse them from their land, and never welcome anyone back, and just take it and make casinos on it. So unless if he's also the issue, okay. And I'll end the call on this. I don't think you're like a Trumper, obviously, but the issue with a lot of people with Trump is they'll say, he says things all the time. You can't really trust what he says. But there's only so much of that you can do before you see a trend and you see what the actual policies are leading towards. The whole casino thing in Palestine, and supporting, letting all hell break loose and trying to do all these Muslim bans and purging military generals in the U.S. There's nothing indicating in his actions that Trump is looking for a good resolution for Ukraine. I could see him doing, giving Russia the territory they want, reestablishing the Ukrainian borders, purging Ukraine of resources, and then encouraging NATO to leave the post-90s additions to NATO, those to leave, take soldiers out of those countries, and then force Europe to make their own force, like you said. I can see a whole range of different outcomes, but I feel like the Ukrainian people are just hoping for whatever can possibly work, and then Donald Trump is just like doing things that we don't understand.
Well, the war better be over because I'm having a wedding there in August, so if it's not over by then, I'm gonna be pissed.
All right, well, thank you for the call in. Hope you have a great night.
Hey, have a great night. Have a.
Who knows if he really went to Ukraine? He might be there. He might be there right now. He might have never gone there. Who knows? Get me on a podcast run? There's no podcast that'll accept me. Let's be honest. No podcasts want me. What podcasts? Pisco, by the way, still does not respond to me. And someone said it, someone did say he's busy, but he also tweets 50,000 times a day. He could respond to a message, He could respond to a message. That is possible. I'm getting pretty black-pilled on working with people because none of it ever works out for me, so. He was just live last night. Tim Pool? What about Tim Pool? Wow. Wow. I want some French fries, bro. All right, stream's over. Thank you for watching. Thank you for calling. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the channel memberships. Thank you. I know he does. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Go to bed. No. Unless if you pay me, you can call tomorrow. I go live at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Call tomorrow. Thank you for the interest. All right, we're gonna do this rhythm game again. I got 900 last night, dude. I did get 900. I got 900. I did do it. $9.10? Dude, $9.10? You can't even mess with me, bro. This is so easy. This game's so easy, bro. This game's so easy, bro. This game's so easy. This game is so easy. Easy game, bro. Easy game, dude. Game's easy, bro. Shaking my head, it's easy. It's just easy. Oh, wow. I got a couple of perfect 50s on there. Yeah. That's not 900? Shut up. No, I'm kidding. Pisco contacted me about doing a show a few weeks ago, but he's busy now. I just want to work with someone, okay? I want to do some type of podcast or talk to someone. I really want to talk to Kyle Kalinske. I really want to talk to Kyle Kalinske really bad. Oh, someone Venmo'd me. What did this guy just say to me? What the hell? I just got an interesting donation. Let's see what the message said in this donation. You need this. You say you're experienced in politics. As a prosecutor, if we are in front of a jury, I'll prove beyond reasonable doubt you're nuts. You say we are wrong. I think you're a narcissist. You think you would do good in any seat, couldn't even be a public defender. I said I was for death penalty. You hung up. Stolen valor. You have stolen legal valor, dude. Thank you for the $10. So, appreciate it. If you want to guarantee a call-in, you could book a call-in, or you could call in by sending your first name and your phone number through a donation through Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Thank you for the likes, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate it. You guys ever play this game? You ever play this game, guys? This is a classic childhood game, flash game for me. It's called Flight of the Hamsters from His Name Code Next Door, whatever it's called. This is a classic laptop and school game for me, dude. Laptop and school. I missed. Oh god. Wait a second. Restarting. Embarrassing. That's embarrassing, dude. Come on. Come on. Alright. Nice. Come on, we need a boost. We need a boost. Okay, there's a fan. There's a fan. Another boost. Another rocket. Another rocket. Alright, we got some glide. Another glide. Okay, another rocket. Perfect. We got a Powerball. Keep us safe. Alright, alright. Another a fan. Another fan. Perfect. Perfect. Another fan. Nice. Nice. That's what we need. That's what we need. Oh, we need another. Ooh, that's not going to be good. We're going to have to bounce. We got a skateboard. You can't use skateboards unless if you're moving on the ground at a certain angle. Ooh, I might be able to bounce. Oh, perfect. Okay, come on. We still got life in us. Okay, we got a little springboard. Perfect. We're going to set some all-time records. Come on. Come on. Come on. No, I didn't click hard enough. Come on, hit the rocket on the way up. Perfect. Perfect. Nice. Nice. That's what we need. Oh, yeah. Let's go, chat. There's another springboard. Perfect with a rocket combo. Whew. This might be an all-time record for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm better than I was when I was better than when I was 12. Oh, no. Come on, dude. No! Come on, come on, come on. I need the purple ball. No! That's 288 feet. 288 feet. Oh, there's full screen? Oh, hell yeah, dude. I never played full screen. Woo! Come on, come on, come on. Give me something. Give me something. No! Game sucks. Game sucks, bro. Game sucks. Bang. Let's go. Let's go. Nice. I really want rockets. Rockets are the best. Helps you get more speed. Not a good run. Not a good run. I need the rocket. Oh, you gotta spam to fly further. No! Perfect. Rocket. Okay. Okay. Rocket. Okay, we got the yellow ball for protection. We need a spring. Oh, I went past the spring. No. I'm dead. If you go too high, then you get like diverted and you can't like glide anymore. So you just like go to the ground. You have to hope you hit a spring. I almost hit a spring, dude. $420. Look at that, dude. $420. $420. This is most excited you've ever seen me. Most excited you've ever seen me, dude. It's a rush. It's survival. Nice. Nice. 2 combo. Yes. Yes. 3. Come on. We need more rockets. More speed. No, I missed it. Come on. Give me a rocket. Give me a rocket. Yes. Come on. Oh! Oh, I had to click so hard for that. I had to click so hard. Crap. Yes, rocket. Another rocket. Bro, this is going to be crazy. Come on. Oh, get that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see it. Nice. We got a fan. Our purple ball is in order. We got another fan. Yes. Keep us up. No, that's too high. We're going to go down crashing. Okay, we're going to need a rocket to put us back on a gliding path. More velocity. No. Oh, come on. Come on. No. There's a spring. Oh! Good night. Have a good night, guys. You got to click so hard to fly up once you're... Once you run out of boost, you got to click really hard to fly back up, bro. Come on. Come on. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. Give me good RNG. Come on, RNG. Come on. Come on, dude. No. I might hit that rocket. I might get it. I got it. I got the rocket bounce. Yes. Recovery. 10 out of 10. Missed that rocket. It's okay, though. Purple ball. Yellow. We need to get that rocket. No, right there, right there. No, don't go over it. What are you doing? Okay, good. We got a springboard. Oh, I should have got that rocket. I should have been ready. We got a rocket, though. Skateboard. Nice. We got another rocket. Another rocket. Another rocket. Come on. Come on. Come on, dude. Oh! I couldn't spam hard enough. What is this garbage? This is how he... This is called defeating fascism. Come on, bro. That's so cringe. Come on, dude. Alright, good night, guys. Thank you. Yeah, don't stay up for this, dude. I'm just having a moment. I'm having a moment. Do not watch this. I'm having a terrible moment. Terrible moment. Ooh! More rockets! More! Yes! Yes! Come on, hit me with the rocket. Hit me with the rocket, bro. Hit me with the rocket. Come on, come on, come on. Give me good RNG, bro. I believe in it. I believe it. Come on, dude. Oh, come on, dude. Yo! I'm trying to get over 1,000, bro. Over 1,000 total feet. One more run. One more run, then I'm going to bed. One more run. Let's go. Let's go. Need some rockets. Need some rockets. Come on. Show me a rocket. Right there? No, I'm too low. Alright, we got a purple. We got a purple ball. Purple ball. Rocket, rocket. Okay, got a purple ball here. Another purple ball. Come on. We can do it. We need that springboard, bro. No, we're going right in the air. We're done. We're done. Crap. Play chess? That's terrible. Okay, let's see it. Let's see it. Bang. Rocket. Rocket. Yes. We need top terminal velocity. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. My wrist is hurting from this game, dude. This is too high, too hardcore for me. I don't like this angle at all. I do not like this angle. I feel like I'm gonna die. Yep. It's a fake phone number. The phone number is fake. It's a fake phone number for my business account to take call-ins from. I'm not gonna get 1,000 this run, dude. I'd have to make it up so bad. I'd have to make it up so bad, bro. Oh no, dude. Come on, rocket, 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 rocket. Man. I'm not gonna get 1,000. I'm gonna have to get like 700 on this last one, dude. I failed for tonight. That's a shame, dude. What a shame. What a shame. To judge a life that you can change. The choir sings, the church bell rings. No, I went between the rockets. Oh, come on, spam. Come on, spam, spam. Oh. That sucks. But I'm gambling. This isn't gambling. This is a flash game from my childhood. What the hell? What are some good classic flash games? Ever play Line Flyer, dude? Line Flyer. Now that's a game. Or Tron? You go Tron. Tron's a good game. Tron's a great game. Tron is actually a fantastic game. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro. I'm gonna be computer level 1 of 6. Sucky driving. Turbo's none. Oh, I go through different levels. Okay. Turbo's enter. Turbo's enter? Where's enter? I forget where enter is. Crap. Shit. 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 Why would I use enter for turbo, bro? Enter's the worst turbo. Can't even use WASD. Bro, they're dead. They're dead, dude. He's dead. There's no way. I won that round, right? Yeah, I won that round. I won that round, bro. Did I kill him? We ran into each other. Well, I could have blocked him out right there. Nice. Easy dub, dude. Easy dub. Oh, man. Easy dub, bro. Easy dub. Easy. No. Yeah, he's stuck in there, bro. Easy dub. Another easy one, dude. First round, 3-1. Body racers? No, I don't know.
Level complete.
Yeah, bro. Watch out.
Begin challenge.
Watch out, buddy. Yeah. You got boxed in, bro. You got boxed in already. He got boxed in already, bro. He's really nothing for real. He's really nothing for real. I killed myself. All right, go to bed, guys. Popcorn. I could use some popcorn, dude. Thank you guys for watching. Play Snake? How do you know I was gonna play Snake? Tron is for real 1v1 Snake, huh? I'm bad at these games, dude. Can I not use the... I have to use the arrow keys for this stuff? I can't use WASD? This game bad. Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Ultimate failure. My fingers are too stiff for games like this, dude. This is too high intensity. I'd rather play CS:GO, something more chill. Something more chill, dude. CS:GO. Nice. 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 Bro, I'm bad, dude. What's going on with me? What's wrong with me, dude? What the heck? How fast? Whoa. Wow. Wow. Wow, we did it, Joe. What the heck? Jeez. This is untenable. Untenable. Man, you gotta be locked in for this. I gotta take some addies. Why am I not doing that quick enough when I go from those fingers? I use WASD here. Wow. Jeez. I'm hitting the button, I swear. It's just like so fast. You gotta move your fingers fast, dude. Wow. Wow, bro. Wow, brother. What the? I swear to God, dude. You have to be locked in this entire time. I hit the button. I hit the button, bro. I turned. I'm hitting the button. I swear to God, dude. Man. Who told me to play Snake? Super Speedy Snake. Well, no one said to play this version. I'm... Bro. I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed, dude. I gotta go to bed, dude. Man. Come on, Mon. I'm walking in, bro. It's time. We don't stress. A 38 to the free yo chest and PP on the PO's desk. Meow. Why'd I meow, dude? I gotta go to bed. Bro. My longest is 61. I gotta beat 61. I'll go to bed. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna go crazy. Whoever said play Snake, I hate you. Why is it in the corner, bro? Yo! I survived it! I'm gonna get 61. Magical. Magical run. Magical run. Magic! No! Ah! I got 66. Okay. What, Jordan? Low speed USB? I think it's fine. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Have a good night. My keyboard's definitely fast enough. I'm just hitting the wrong keys in the wrong order. It's just a hard game in general. My fingers are I have stiff fingers too from playing on my phone all day and doing computer stuff and streaming for 6 hours straight. Okay, that's it for me. All right, good night, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Go to bed. You'll get 2 black pilled. See you guys. See you guys in the Discord and all that stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night. Thank you for another stream. Thank you. Thank you.